Excellent. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I, tonight, am going to be your Lightkeeper. Begin on a scene in a bedroom, warm, lit by lantern light, little bit of electricity, four-coaster bed, comfortable blankets and sheets, and two gentlemen. One is young and hale, dressed in fine clothes, blonde hair, blue eyes. The other, dark-haired, dark eyes, dusky-colored skin, dressed in the clothes of an entertainer. Loosely fitting linen shirt, comfortable slacks, uh, and a beautiful, seductive smile. The two of them enjoy each other's company, away from prying eyes, the judgment of New Fair's high society or its streets and working class folks alike. Just for a moment, they're able to share and enjoy one another outside of all of the pressures and darkness that is living in this city. Darkness overcomes the screen and then brightens again as the two of them, no longer clothed, entwined in one another. One of them still wearing the undershirt, the blonde, higher class gentleman, still wearing his undershirt. And they're both just entwined with one another. The noise doesn't wake either of them. A shadow slithering in the open window, left open so that the light breeze could come in and caress their bodies. Eventually, the blonde gentleman stirs. He hesitates. Doesn't want to wake his lover. So he just quietly reaches into a drawer where there's a little sewing kit and pulls out a pair of scissors. And slices off the sleeve. Carefully puts away the scissors, not making a sound. Gets out of bed, puts on his night coat, gathers up all of his clothes, and heads out the door. We stay on the room, pregnant for perhaps just 2 as you hear something slithering, crawling, a creature, vaguely humanoid, covered in thin brown fur that is slightly molted with black ichorous lesions. It gets closer and closer, and as the lesions drip and they hit the bed, they just turn to ash and flake away, leaving behind not a single bit of proof or evidence. The creature's long, clawed fingers make its way as it crawls closer and closer upon the sleeping being. And it is then, with the speed of the cat, this creature latches on, its maw opening up, revealing pincer fangs and slicing seamlessly like a hot butter into knife into the flesh of his victim's neck. Slowly, you hear the draining of blood as the dusk tone of the skin of the lover more and more gaunt and gaunt and gaunt until finally the steady, rhythmic breathing of sleep replaces the sweet, quiet silence of death. The creature licks its chops with its long, slithering tongue after extracting its fangs from its victim. It slithers away through the same open window, leaving behind a pale, gaunt, dead body with a single cut sleeve. I am Okami, known in some parts as Hector, and I'm going to be your, as I said before, your Lightkeeper. In the shadows of Newfair, cast by the scarlet light of its red lamp district, and dreams of those whose culture and spirit were stolen by the decadence of empire, a legacy of theft, exploitation, and the callous extraction of the precious heart and soul of those regions dubbed Otherwhere. These souls know the gilded histories of Old Fair, even as they clean the homes and warm the beds of their descendants. New industrious greed slithers in to maintain the chain of control in the hands of Newfair's privileged and elite via the twin blades of industry and profiteering. In the aftermath of the Great War, bringing them the poison of fallen Old Fair's alchemical blasphemies and wonders, extending across vast oceans to both the fragile, newly independent colonies of Old Fair and the powerful, ancient nations of Otherwhere. So standing as beacons in the dark, a circle rises to the ranks of Candela Obscura to protect those who live on the fringes of the diaspora of Otherwhere. In the shadows that conceal these hopes and dreams, they will confront the consequences of planting those hopes and dreams in Old Fair's shadow as they produce poisonous blossoms fed by the obsidian blood of Old Fair's fetid heart. So begins the trials and tribulations of the Circle of Hither and Yon. Assignment number 367, The Cut Sleeve. We begin our tale with Mr. Griffith, Lieutenant Griffith. We're starting with you. Where would you be on an evening such as this, on a typical evening?
Well, I suppose that I would be among good company. And I believe that that would be where the Candela Obscura tends to gather. What's the name of our establishment? I'm trying to remember.
You are at the Ivory Mask. A beautiful, yes, the Ivory Mask is your chapter house, where your circle is based out of. It is a Molly house, a theater and den of vice, particularly that caters to the queer denizens of New Fair. You know, anyone who is different, identifies with a gender different than what they were assigned when they were born, people who love those of their same gender, the whole variety. The Ivory Mask is a place where they gather to drink, spend time, entertain, play games, enjoy a bit of theater, a bite of food, and there are lodgings that can be rented for the evening, and perhaps the company of individuals as well.
I would say that Mr. Griffith has decided to avail himself of all offerings this night. He's got a drink at his elbow, sitting in an old chair across from an old friend. And I think if I'm allowed to have my dog in, I would have my dog down by my feet.
Absolutely. Yep. He's kind of sitting down there. He's got a water bowl in front of him. Occasionally, he'll go over and lap up a bit of water and then go back to resting.
He tends to steal food from my plate if I'm not paying attention, and he has taken the remains of my sandwich, which I'm not super pleased about, but that's how life is in these times. So I'm too engaged in conversation with my partner.
So across from you is who you occasionally effectively refer to as Captain, is George Winston, attractive fellow, older though, in his 70s, gray hair, short cropped trimmed beard, wearing a very nice gentleman's coat undershirt. He is not wearing a tie or cravat. It is completely open, kind of showing off, a little scandalously, kind of showing off a little bit of his chest hair. And he has a scotch and a cigar nearby. And while above table, he just seems to be very casual and friendly. Under table, his feet are flirting with yours. It's a proper gentleman. You can't keep the flirtation above table. It's not anyone's business.
George, this sort of thing has a way of getting out, and it's better to just own it. But I understand. Your situation's a little different than mine.
Well, I am a divorcee now, so I can be a little bit open. Isn't that why we're spending time together?
Indeed. I've got more questions about that, but I suppose we'll wait for more private setting. It is good to see you again, though.
It is. It is quite good. Business is improving, and how are things going with your niece? And his eyes kind of glaze over to the other side of the room. Whitney, your character, where are you in this room? How are you dressed? What is going on with Sienna?
Well, I think Sienna would be dressed very simply. When she makes a run to the Ivory Mask, she tends to try to not call too much attention to herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she is wearing a very simple white shirtwaist.
Mm-hmm.
She wears black pants. Everything is a very good cut, but if you look very closely, you can tell that it's fresh. While everything is freshly laundered and well tended to,
Mm-hmm.
they are not very much in the height of fashion, and she really does not care. She wears a black, rather newsy style cap on her head, her long, dark red hair, which is very gorgeous and very lustrous, but she always wears it pulled into a braid that is always fighting against its incarceration, so to speak. It wants to be free and flowing. It does call attention to her very pale skin and her very keen and bright gray eyes that are very observant and haunted. But she's tending to kind of stand well and pay attention to things, but at the same time, she hopes that nobody really sees much of her. But she does kind of clock Uncle Harry sitting in the back with his main squeeze. She knows it's his main squeeze. He doesn't have to tell her. She's figured it out. And she'll pretty much be, and she notices Mr. Winston looking at her, and she's like,
An interesting niece that you have
Indeed.
there.
Yes, she's very expressive. It's always nice to see her here.
Kalki, where are you this evening? Are you at the Ivory Mask? Is she out running errands?
I believe Kalki would indeed be at the Ivory Mask. She has had an appointment with one of her clients a little earlier in the evening. At this point, I believe with the last lingering crack of a whip, a door would open and a tousled gentleman would be led out by the tide. I believe
Thank
it
you.
is enough for now.
Of course, mistress. Thank you so much. And like he just reaches in and like hands you like a beautiful envelope that is probably filled with currency, and just shakily hands it to you before making his way, his eyes looking dazed and horny as he just sort of trips up on himself and makes his way away.
I will press the envelope back to him. I believe you know that I do not hand these things. Please pass it to Don Castillo, and be a good boy till the next time we meet. And I will pat him on the cheek, and I will dismiss him as I start walking to the staircase, and gently tug and start walking down.
So you walk down the stairs looking like a vision, and you kind of are able to see over the main way where everyone is sitting at tables and enjoying themselves. And you can see Sienna. You can see Harry, who doesn't like being called that, with Mr. Winston.
Nope, she's special, but I don't like being called that.
You tolerate me calling you that.
I'd tolerate pretty much anything from you.
So, Agatha and our professor, I'm going to say that you are both at the university, at Briar College. What are you both doing there?
I am at the moment looking through a book for the pages, and you can see upon the page that I'm looking at that there is some sort of symbolisms in there. Some, what you say could be a rune, maybe. A knife, on the other hand, I'm trying to carve on a wooden table a rune, as I have a pencil on the side, a feather to sort of ink the rune later, and I am going through it with my finger, carefully trying to read through it as I mumble some words slowly. I look at Agatha on the side, and I tell her to come forward, sit by the side.
Agatha, what do you do?
I come forward, and I also correct the good professor's pronunciation.
Okay. By the way, my character at the moment, which is by the name of Don Enrique Puertos, does look like he's a black man with one eye that is purely white, and you can see that he clearly cannot see from it. White short hair and a beard that makes him look like he's in about his 50s, dressed up very nicely, with a tie as well. And he will look at Agatha and say, Agatha, you have come. Thank you for your help in here. I have been looking forward to this appointment. As he shakes his head a bit, I am in the need to know which additional rune we will need to add to this one to create some further incantation. To place his book by the side, try to see upon the land of the living.
And I will look over his work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As you're looking over it, like you're looking at the symbols, you can feel a warmth behind your eye patch, like responding to the incantation in some way, almost as if there's some connection between this ritual and your injury. You feel like you're going in the right direction. Or the wrong one. There's no way of being sure without more research.
I think it would be wise if we consulted with some of our compatriots on this.
Which compatriots in particular are you talking about?
It's at that point there is a knock on the door.
Did you ask for someone to come over here, Agatha?
No, I had intended for us to adjourn here and perhaps recess at the Ivory Mask.
Enrique will grab his whiskey that he has in a glass at the corner and put it under the table so no one can see that he was drinking at work, and go towards the door and open it up.
Agatha will take her shawl off and place it under one of the books on the table and open the book to a random page. Make it to hide what we're doing.
So you open the door, and then the scene jumps again over to Arav Patel. You have just finished a set on the stage at the Ivory Mask, applauding various tricks, magic tricks, and when you are finished, you're resting in one of the rooms in your personal room chambers that Don Castillo lets you stay in exchange for entertaining several nights a week. When you hear a rapid knock on your door.
Arav calls out, who's there? while
You're by yourself in your room at the ivory mask.
I'll just open it. I'm
Oh.
asking like who's there at the door. Like I'm asking like who's there.
Oh, gotcha. It's Don Castillo.
I run across the room and open the door as fast as I possibly can.
He hands you a missive that has a seal of Candela on it. When you open the door, he is slightly covered in a sheen of sweat. Don Castillo is a gentleman in his early 30s, late 40s, shoulder length, thick, curly hair, a heavy but well manicured beard, dark eyes, olive toned skin that occasionally gets darker in the summer months, fit impeccably dressed in an ash gray gentleman's suit with a white pressed Oxford shirt and a silk tie underneath that is slightly loosened. But in this moment, he looks sweaty, harried, and concerned. And he hands you this missive. It has the seal of Candela on it, the one that's on your pins. And he's like, I need you to go to Briar University. You need to get your circle mates and bring them back here now. And he presses it into your hands.
I understand, Tia, and I start darting out of the room, trying to like start heading downstairs into like the meeting room, where I assume most of the circle members would already be.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to try and pick up a couple of people on the way, or are you going to go straight to Professor Enrique's office?
I would say like I do like head into like the central part of the ivory mask where I know like people congregate occasionally, trying to pick out people.
Mm-hmm. So you see the three of you see, I think by this point, Kalki, you've probably made your way to the bar. And it's at this point you see Mr. Patel running down this, moving down the stairs into the middle of the room, looking around the room. You see Kalki at the bar. You see hold on. Trying to keep everybody's name straight because there's so many of you. Mr. Griffith. Mr. Griffith is at the table. And Sienna Ballard is wherever she would like to be, probably comfortably at the bar or at her own table. Yeah, comfortably at the bar.
I'm at the bar, and actually, to kind of piggyback off Kalki's friend, when he comes downstairs and is looking very harried, and he kind of stops and he's at the bar, he's like, I basically just grab a snifter of a very special restorative cordial that Dom Castillo keeps on tap for occasions such as this, and I wordlessly shove it over towards him.
He kind of downs it, and this is the scene that that Mr. Patel, that Arav is seeing. Like, just, would you like to approach any of your circle members? Do you all want?
Oh, I was going to say, it's such a loud clamor. Mr. Griffith's hand goes into. He's not like me. He's wearing his actual army coat, but his hand goes into his pocket immediately. Something's in there. He's ready for this, but his dog barely moves. It recognizes footprints. Little more aware of the situation, but so he watches him move into the room and is like, I'm actually going to get up and go over there.
George says, I will see you later in the evening, perhaps.
Perhaps. We'll have to see what happens here.
And,
good night, George.
Good night. And then he sips his drink, sets it down, gets up, and he makes his way out. No rush, just taking his sweet time. you walk up to Mr. Patel. What do you all say? What do you do? Do you all just want to follow him, or?
Young Patel,
Patel.
as I keep telling you, this is not decorum to run like this. Present yourself properly and move with grace and purpose, as opposed to
Mossy per,
dashing around like a headless chicken.
Mossy per, like, and he like starts getting like the letter and like he starts to receive a little bit into himself. He gets the letter and says like, "But I got a letter from. I've got a missive that Don Castillo had it straight to me." And you see like the mark of Candela on it, and he's like, "I rushed here to get you guys as fast as we could, so that we could get Miss Madam Agatha and Tia,
Furthermore,
and
since
Tia, I
this
think,
is a matter that is not for the mundane, even more subtlety is called for.
Yes,
And
perhaps
she
let's
will
adjourn to a side room.
shake her head despairingly.
Yes, Mossy, and you see it's just a little bit more deflated.
Would the group like to retreat to a side room, like suggested by Mr. Griffith, or what would the players like to do?
I basically Sienna looks up slowly from the bar where she would, after she had just kind of pushed the restorative cordial over, and she looks up and she's like, oh, is it something important now? Oh.
I'm going to look around quickly. How many members of our circle are here?
Just the four of you, or just 1, 2, 3. No, just the four of you.
Yeah.
The other two are are not there.
Should we perhaps summon the remainder of our circle before we cover this topic, or are we just going to forge ahead?
I believe the others are at the university tonight. They have not made their way to the Ivory Mask just as of yet.
Perhaps I'll hire a boy and have them be fetched. Why don't we adjourn to a side room and we can await their arrival?
Young Patel, what is the nature of your urgency? What was conveyed to you as you were handed?
Don Castillo, you see he almost like attempts to like break you off, and then he remembers his decorum and says, and waits for you to patiently finish. And as he's like almost hopping from foot to foot, and says, Don Castillo asked me to get to the university with this as soon as possible. That's the reason I was hurrying as fast as I could. He himself was in a hurry himself. I saw him sweaty, which I've never seen him before other than when he was coming out of rooms. But this is the first time that he was probably running to my room as well.
So you are being dispatched to the university. We should go with you then.
Yes, he told me to gather as many as we could and head to the university.
All right, I'll whistle, like low whistle. Dog comes off the chair. Let's go then. No time.
Oh, do we have to? I was so comfortable here.
Yes, my dear, fetch your coat. The road calls.
Yes, young Sienna. As young Patel has pointed out, we have a duty to attend to.
I don't think I've seen him move with such vigor before, so I would assume it's something important.
You move through the city streets after this conversion, and the door opens, and Enrique, you see the rest of your circle, and Mr. Patel kind of in the middle with holding up a note with the seal of Candela on it.
Surprise!
Oh, yeah. Okay, come on in. And he'll just start moving things around so they can all come into the room, the classroom that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Griffith will take a moment to bow to Ms. Agatha.
Mr. Griffith, it's good
Lovely
to see you again.
Yes. If only we had met up again on this less extreme times, but I suppose we'll see what all this rumpus is about in a few moments.
Indeed.
Aggie, it is very nice to see you this evening as well.
You as well, Kalki. Have you been well?
I have had a very tiring day, and the restorative draught that was for me was handed by Sienna to one of these wastes of air. But I just chose not to put a finger on it in the moment, as we are in a
Had a
hurry.
good time.
I'll take a flask out and screw the top and hand it over to you.
You can have
Thank
this,
you.
and
Mr. Griffith.
Enrique will go to the side and grab a whiskey that he had hidden, put it on the table. You see that it's pretty top notch.
It's better to enjoy his libations. This is somewhat like paint thinner.
So let me get this straight, Arav. You saw Don Castillo in a sweat.
Yes, I did.
My.
It's not very common.
I mean,
He's-
it's common depending on if he's been doing his business.
Well, I was going to say it's not very common for most folk to see.
I mean, he's never appeared like that in front of me before. He's always the perfect gentleman. This is my first time seeing him so harried. And I assumed it was a matter of the utmost importance. And so I looked at my envelope and start should I look to Kalki and say I look like Miss Kalki and say, Mousy, should I open it?
Now it's a good time. Put that, please go ahead.
I sort of slowly, carefully open it, trying not to rip anything.
The letter is interesting because it's written in a way that, I'm just above table. It is as I recount what the letter says, you learn pretty quickly that, this was literally get them and bring them back to the Ivory Mask, is what it says. It says, please retrieve Agatha, and it very pointedly just uses first names. Get Enrique, which is something that Don Augusto usually does, because given names are harder to track. Last names, surnames are the ones that tend to leave a paper trail. So he very specifically says, Agatha, Enrique, they're at Briarheart College. Bring them back to the Ivory Mask immediately.
I've already sat down, taken my coat off.
And he says, we have a code red. You all know that code red in Candela means chapter house compromised.
Huh?
Oh dear.
It usually means something has happened within a chapter house, which is rare because chapter houses have wards, they have security. They're not impenetrable, but
it's very difficult to penetrate them.
Yes, it is.
So, Mr. Patel, what's all this about?
I look up at them and say code red.
I believe that
Code red.
young Patel has made a bit of a oversight. He was supposed to gather everyone here, gather everyone at the Ivory Mask, and has indeed done the opposite and gathered us all here instead. How very excellent of you.
Well, to be fair,
You see him deflating every single word. He slowly starts shrinks down as Kalki says that.
I'll pat him on the shoulder, stand up. It's fine. Getting an old man to run halfway across the city, stand up and sit down multiple times is nobody's fault but the old man's. Let's go. Code red, folks.
Oh, God. We really should speak to... What's the point in having these really supposedly amazing pens if we can't use them for something? Maybe to summon us. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Do you know how dangerous that magic could be to have it all the time within yourself?
Magic again.
Oh,
All right, let's go.
I look at Enrique and say, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Indeed.
I have. And he starts pointing toward his high.
Gentle
We
people,
will not
no, it's
be
not.
rehashing this old argument. Let us return to the Ivory Mask.
All right, I'm
Indeed.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Ms. Agatha, if
Indeed.
you'll join me, let's find the street.
So,
Of course.
Hey, real
Kalki's-
quick, Grayson.
Yes.
Grayson,
real quick, just
what's your
pause.
dog's
Pause.
name?
Yeah, what's
Sorry,
the
what?
dog's name? The dog.
Oh, Buddy. No, it's like the
Buddy.
old guy. It's old guy.
Oh,
Old
God,
guy.
come here.
Old
Come here,
guy.
old guy.
Oh.
Come here, boy.
Kalki
So-
is already at the door and has held it open, patiently waiting for the others as she snaps fingers. Gustav,
Yes, Auntie.
please get
Yes,
the
Auntie.
get the car ready.
Yes, mistress.
Yes, Auntie.
Gustav has the car ready, drives you all. You go through another drive through the city.
And
You end up
book
back
it.
at the Ivory Mask. And we're just going to jump to Hither and Yon Castillo's office. He is looking sweaty and harried. His hair, sometimes he likes to tie his hair back. No, it's free. And he's sitting behind his large oakwood desk, taking a deep breath, not sitting, looking at all of you. Oh, good. You have arrived.
Code Red isn't said lightly. What's going on?
What's the matter here?
I've re-strengthened the wards, but follow me. And he leads you out of his office, down the hallway, into the chambers of Preston Marlowe.
Also, Lightkeeper, as soon as we would have
Yes.
entered the Ivory Mask,
Mm-hmm.
Kalki would have pulled out from her little tote bag a small little raven skull, which is
Mhm.
her bleed detector.
Yes.
The eyes would light up. The hollows of the skull would light up in case we are in the vicinity of a bleed.
So
Apologies, Lightkeeper.
as he's
Apologies, Lightkeeper, to break you. Could you just please spell the name for me? Preston Marlowe.
Preston, and then Marlowe, like Christopher Marlowe, the playwright, Marlowe. You know that
Perfect, thank
he
you.
is you know that Preston is an actor, a playwright, and he's a regular guest performer at the Ivory Mask. He's like enough that he has his own room. Don Castillo takes a deep breath, puts on a glove, and then gently opens the door and steps back and says, I found Preston Marlowe has reached an ill end. I've closed the club for the night, made up some story about renovations, so there are no civilians. The chapter house proper, the seals and wards are still there, but the secondary wards I have here, I don't know how they were broken.
It's somewhat forcefully. Mr. Griffith will grab him by the arm and say quietly into his ear, "What have I told you about these wards? Why don't you hire someone with some weaponry and be ready for this sort of thing?"
That
This is
person
reckless.
is you, he says through his teeth.
Oh, well, if I was to know that I was on some sort of guard duty, I would have been a little more aware.
What do you think being a member of Candela is, Lieutenant?
I guess I'm finding out.
Guys, calm down.
Of course. He motions into the room. I have not touched anything. I have left the scene completely untouched. I am trusting you all to look into this. This is our home.
Are the runes still on? Still active?
Yes.
Okay, I will be checking that.
How
I
long
will
has it
leave
been?
the corpse to you.
How long has it been since this crime scene was discovered?
2 hours ago.
Can I make a survey?
Yes, absolutely. First roll of the night. Yes, make a survey roll. I'm going to say these are low stakes
Okay.
because it's calm and, so you don't have to worry. Oh, this is so exciting. First roll.
So
Okay.
I think I have 2 pips in survey, and I don't believe it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, it says my dice pool is 2 dice.
Yes, you have 2 dice. Would you like... There's a couple of ways that you can get more dice.
Actually, I suppose I should do focus, because this is inspect, analyze, remember, correct?
Right. So you're trying to survey, search, track, and spot, focus, inspect. Yes, roll focus instead.
Okay.
I would like to assist.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. Go ahead and spend a drive, and it'll give you another die.
I believe I have normally my dice are these they're called double Ds, but this one is shiny. I think this is my gilded die. I think I have gilded on
Shinies
it.
are gilded.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I think that means I have normally 1 and a gilded,
Mm-hmm.
and then I get 1 for being assisted.
Yes. Yes.
So my dice pool is 3. Okay.
All right. Roll, and let me know what the numbers are.
6, not on the gilded though.
What is on the gilded?
4.
4. Do you want to take the 6?
Yeah,
you haven't
because I
spent
don't
any
think I
drives
need
yet.
to. Yeah, I don't need to replenish
Okay.
anything.
Excellent. All right. So you go into the room. Describe your method. So the room itself, as you're looking around, is a 4-coaster bed. It's what I described in the beginning. So you see the body, the open window, everything kind of laid out. It's still dimly lit by the lantern. The lantern light is still on. And what is your character looking for?
Well, with this,
specifically,
I'm looking for a means of entry, and I would like to examine the body further and see if I can understand. So you said the body looks like what?
So as you start to examine it and piece together what happened, it's almost like, because you got a 6, it's almost like the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Pieces of the opening cinematic start coming into your character's mind as you're piecing it together. Not necessarily what the creature looks like, but you see that the window is opened from the inside. You find a piece of fabric on the ground of a sleeve that's been cut.
Okay. I do a series of
someone's shirt.
I do a series of, like, my method is I'm looking at the room from the doorway.
Yeah, it looks like somebody cut their shirt to get out from underneath the body.
Okay.
You find the 2 incisors on the neck that's ensanguinated it. You figure the creature came in through the window into the ceiling?
Yeah, that's what my dog... So a series of kind of low whistles, or like kind of grunt whistles, like a coded message to the dog, and it moves over and starts smelling around looking for that. And I go to the window and I inspect the latch. And then I go and I'm like looking around, and then I go over to this piece of fabric and kind of inspect that for a bit. And so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, the fabric is expensive linen. Like, it's got to be from like a tailor or a suit making shop. It's definitely the kind of shirt that not that you wouldn't wear, but that perhaps George would wear. What would everyone else like to? Would anyone else like to take a look in the room, see what's going on? Your bleed, Kalki. Your bleed detector as you get closer to the body. Oh, go ahead. Describe.
Yeah, so I basically have the skull out and I start doing the mudras, and there's a slow, hum in my voice as I go.
Give me a sense roll.
Okay.
As you get closer to the body, the skull starts to glow, but I feel like you're probably going to get a little more information. This is also low stakes. Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, my dear.
All right. Go ahead and spend a drive, and Kalki, you get an additional die to your sense roll.
Oh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One other thing is Griffith took out his pistol, and he's kind of just got it in his hand.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll, Kalki.
That is unfortunately the highest number I have is a 4, but that's on a gilded.
Okay, you get your drive back, yeah. All right, so mixed success. So you go over to that area, and the place where you pointed was the body itself. That is where the bleed is radiating. And as you get close and you're doing the mudras, both of you get flashes of the creature itself, and what it did, and just kind of like winces, and then Kalki, take a bleed. What does bleed feel like to you?
As opposed to the Maya of Ispatpur, the fade here is tainted. It is far darker, and it feels as if there is a cold fist that has kind of grasped Kalki's heart and given a quick little squeeze as she winces and takes one step back, but then opens her eyes and there's a golden glow.
Auntie Kalki, are you all right?
Please do not come closer to here. This is a rather sensitive area for people like us. Sienna, please step back.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Old guy
He puts his hand on your shoulder, a reassuring hand on your shoulder, and nods and thanks.
Old guy also kind of avoids the area. He's got a bit of a bleed detection going on, but he's avoiding that. It's got bad vibes. Dogs don't like them.
Agatha, Enrique, what are the two of you doing?
Oh, sorry, Lightkeeper. I forgot to say, as the eyes glowed golden, I will choose to resist that.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Make a roll again.
Oh, is this a resistance reroll? Right?
Yeah, resistance is a reroll, but it doesn't use any of the bonus dice. It just uses your base dice, and that is to evade the consequences.
Ooh.
The highest is a 4.
Is that a 4? Okay, so this is how I'm going to interpret it. So you focus, and you're trying to like push it down, and then you feel like you expel the darkness of the bleed, but then like you feel the soreness through your whole body, and you take a body instead. As like while the super like trying to expel the darkness, it like hurt you physically.
Okay.
When Enrique starts noticing this sort of vibes from Kalki, he will approach there, put a hand over her shoulder, and say, "Mrs. Kalki, are you okay?"
Oh, I think. Go ahead, continue. Kalki,
I'm
what do you say?
fine. I put my hand, I break the mudra and I take another step back and I put my hand on Enrique's hand and give it a pat. I'm all right for now, my friend.
Remember,
I
don't to
have-
delve into the darkness. It is dangerous.
The darkness remains the darkness until we cast light. That is our purpose. And that is what we do.
Yes. I'll
Cool
leave
stuff.
the hand.
Do you have a record of who might have been in the room with Preston?
Antonio says, yes, I do. I'm more than happy. Let me get the ledger book.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with
Okay.
you.
Agatha, do you go with them or do you stay in the room?
As they both leave the room. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, Art was just gagging outside the door because this is probably gonna be one of his first times being faced with an actual dead body. So this is this is his first Candela assignment, and this is like his first look at an actual dead body, and so he's just trying to keep his stomach, what he ate for lunch, inside him, and not have it end up on the scene. As he manages to get it under control, he sort of like steps closer to the window and tries to see how far up are we.
10 feet.
10 feet. So like it's like the second story.
Mm-hmm. It is the second story. This thing would have had to climb up the side of the window.
See. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, could I like see if it's possible for like a artist such as myself to be able to like climb up 10 feet?
I will give this to you without any kind of roll. Yes, but you would need tools.
Tools?
Oh, like an escape artist? Yeah, you would need tools. You would need a rope. You would need pitons. You'd need something. Specially designed climbing shoes. It's totally possible as a magician and escape artist that this could be climbed, but actually, you're looking out the window?
Yes, I am.
Give me a survey.
As he is near the window and as John and Sienna leave the room, I will just kind of quietly mutter, I do not think it is a question of who, rather more of what.
I think it always comes down to being a question of who.
I believe Agatha has said that this is not the time to rehash old debates, Mr. Griffith.
I'm like pouring some water out onto a kerchief that I carry. Like, no, it's not. And I'll hand it to young Mr. Patel and say, deep breaths, lad. Just kind of work through it. Put the cloth to your forehead. Take a moment. Hold your breath.
So yeah, I essentially do that to like recover myself. Would you say what kind of role is this DM? Like high stakes, low stakes, medium stakes?
Low stakes.
Low stakes. All right.
Yeah.
I will spend a drive of my own to add a dice to that. So let me just add a drive.
Okay.
That's so that I've got 1 point in survey and I'm adding a drive, so that's 2 dice.
Okay.
I'll add a drive too because I'm kind of assisting you by trying to calm you down.
Yeah. Go
How
ahead.
do I do that though? I just kind of one of mine.
Yeah, if you go on your character sheet, you can just click -1 drive, and it'll automatically do it for you. If you look next to intuition, cunning, or nerve on your sheet, there's like a little counter where you can count your drives down.
Cool. Is that okay to assist you, or were you?
Oh yeah, sure. I just so I got a 5, a 2, and the 2 with
mixed success. So you're looking through, you're trying to calm yourself down, you look, and it's at that point you realize where you're looking to climb. If you were going to like scale a wall, like for a magic trick, you see claws raked into the side of the wall, and in some places scraping on the sides. And the horror of this inhuman thing strikes you. Take a brain.
Roger that.
As this is proving all too much in this moment.
I sort of like let out like a. You see him like I start like clutching the windowsill. Knuckles are turning white as I clutch it hard, trying to stabilize myself.
Breathe through it.
The
Hold
moment
yourself
a little bit of a
together,
wheeze.
Mr. Patel.
You see him try to like wrench one of his arms off the windowsill, and a little bit of the windowsill comes with it as he lets go of the windowsill and finally points at the claw marks.
Looks like some sort of bird, I suppose.
Yes, a sparrow, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Back
like
to
to take
Agatha.
I would like to take a closer look at the claw marks.
You kind of it's a little bit of a dramatic moment, I'm imagining, as Agatha just kind of steps up and just sort of kind of sweeps people to the side and examines them a little more closely. How do you want to look at these? What are you feeling? What ability, what skill do you want to kind of pitch to me
I
on
would like
this one?
I would like to use focus,
Mhm.
and I would like to spend a drive for that.
All right.
And
And
I
this is
roll.
low, and this is also low stakes.
Okay, so that would be 2 dice plus the gilded, or
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's the highest I've got is a 3.
Okay. This is where things get interesting. Okay. You stop, you look over, you look at the claw marks, and as you look at them and you focus on them, your heart starts beating with these intense palpitations as suddenly the claw marks to your vision start glowing and then pulsing with this sort of like red like blood, and you hear this and it's almost like looking at it, and then behind your eye patch is this heat, this really intense feeling as you just buckle down and you guys see Agatha's like knees give out as you take a body and a bleed, as your injury is somehow resonating with whatever monster left behind these claw marks.
Hi, the child. What's come over you?
The moment I see
I'd immediately go up to like help Agatha.
Yeah, I was
Okay, that was
gonna
a
help
body
too.
and a body and a bleed. You said.
A body and a bleed, yes.
Yeah, we'll assist you back
Yeah,
to
we-
it.
That is no bird.
I suppose we'll have to look closer if we want to know. What happened? Why don't we stop looking out the window? It seems to be quite upsetting for people.
what are we looking at here?
Pause for levity. Pause for levity. Agatha, please continue.
That is no bird. That I don't know what it was, but I can assure you it was no bird. It was something much larger.
Enrique, you and Kalki went to help Agatha to her feet.
Yes, and the moment I saw Agatha falling into her knees, I just grabbed Arab by the shirt and pulled him away in a protective manner. Everyone, stay away from the bleed here. And I'm trying to get everyone apart from Agatha at the moment. Agatha, which sort of dimensions are we talking about? As I put a hand on her shoulder.
For this, I would think it would be a sense roll.
Yes. Yeah. Do you guys both want to do a sense roll, like together, like as a team?
Me and Agatha use me and
Yeah,
check.
because
Okay.
Team check.
because you left Whitney. Sorry, Sienna is out. So, or do you want to take this on your own, Agatha, and take the risk? I'm just asking above table. Yeah.
I can help you with that if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I will use sense for my roll.
Okay.
I would like to place a hand between Agatha's shoulder blades and give a small little circular rub as I add a drive to that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, so that is how many dice?
So the way I'm going to do it is it's 3 dice for you, Agatha. Your sense. How much is your sense, Agatha? From what I'm looking,
I've got
is 1.
I've got 1 in sense, and that one is gilded for me.
And then you have an additional die from Kalki, and then both of you roll, and if one of you gets a 6, we'll take that 6. If one of you gets a mixed success, we'll go with that. All right.
Anyone? What's the pool of dice that we've got available right now?
Right now, Agatha has 2.
That is a 6, baby.
Oh,
okay.
Never mind.
I was wondering if there was like a call for drives because I always want to.
It's all good.
As long as we got
it. Go ahead. Go ahead and roll just in case you get a 6 on the gilded, Enrique.
Okay. On which one?
The gilded.
On the gilded. So roll sense. Go ahead and just roll sense.
I roll sense and I got a 2.
Do I take my drive back? Do I take my drive back?
You do take your drive back. It was a 6 on the gilded, right?
Well,
or was
Agatha,
it a regular 6? For Agatha, was that 6 on the gilded?
No, that was a regular 6.
Oh no, it was a regular 6. So
I'm going to come back with the ledger in my arms.
Oh, in just a moment. I actually have a scene for you right after this.
Okay.
Yeah. So the two of you, Agatha, you both reach out and blood, nature, death. You're all just sort of overwhelmed as you just sort of reach and try and like figure out what it is the bleed is here, what's happening. You find that all of the wards in the chapter house are actually helping you both able to focus and narrow down. And Agatha, you kind of open the door as you bring in these energies. But Tomas, Enrique, el profesor, you realize what you're dealing with. Something that you remember from your childhood.
I am embarrassed in this.
This is La Chupacabra. This is a vampiric being whose entire purpose is to feast on living blood, but it doesn't attack people. I mean, people think it attacks people. It usually attacks livestock or animals. Yeah. And
cheap.
This is a folklore creature, not a creature of bleed. Something of your people is here.
Yeah.
Which would explain why it got past the wards. It has the magic of Borinque woven into it. And all of these wards also have the old magic that you and Agosto practice.
Could I have been the one who laid the wards in this area? take into consideration my knowledge.
No. From what you're seeing is, Agosto did it. Agosto laid all of the wards everywhere. But from what Agatha literally is showing you almost like a black, like a cat's cradle that El Chupacabra just sort of slipped through the holes of and allowed bleed to come into this place.
All right. No. Here we're dealing with something much greater than a bird or a person or whatever the hell you think we are dealing with. This right here, I know. This right here, I have dealt with in the past. We are talking about La Chupacabra.
And like Griffith spits the drink he is drinking. Okay, well, you've got it. I'm gonna go see what dear Miss Sienna's up to.
Speaking of dear Miss Sienna,
Hi.
we're gonna flash over.
There is more that exists in this world than in your philosophy, Mr. Griffith.
Sienna and Agosto are making their way to the main office. You go in, he pulls out the ledger, pulls it out, flips through it.
And I'm kind of leaning against the desk, and I'm shaking my head.
And the name?
I can't do this.
You've got to.
Uncle Augusto, I can't.
You have to. This is our home.
I know, but...
I have the name.
Let me see.
He points, and it's Oliver Preston.
Do I know Oliver Preston?
Oliver Preston is a young man who is the heir to Preston Industries. Hold on just a second.
Any connection to Preston Merlo?
Winston, excuse me. Winston Trade Company. He is the son and heir to the Winston Trade Company.
And I know Mr. Winston.
You know George.
I know George.
Yeah, he was the man who I was meeting with, yeah.
And you've seen Oliver around. Mm-hmm. Young man, blonde, upper class, handsome, wealthy. And that is who was in Preston Marlowe's company that night.
You mean at that hour?
At that hour.
Yeah.
I know this. I know the last name. This is the Winston name. This is
Winston Trade Company, right?
Yes. Oh.
It's at this point
this
that
is getting a lot more tangled.
This is getting much more tangled.
I feel it so much. It's like saturating my whole being, Uncle Augusto.
It's fine. Find out what you can, take this lead back to the rest of the group, and see if you can question Mr. Winston, the younger. See if you can find any information. I don't necessarily think he was the one responsible, but he may very well have been the last one to see Preston alive.
I can do that.
There's also the concern that what if Preston wasn't the target?
Do you think Oliver Winston could have been the target?
A wealthy, young, somewhat closeted young man? We have to consider all angles.
Yes,
all angles.
All right. So I'm going to have to open myself up, aren't I?
Not if you don't want to. And he hands you one of Oliver Winston's advertisement cards with an address. There's an advantage to providing pleasure to wealthy people.
I think
Don't
I can-
open yourself up unless you have to.
Okay.
Go join with the others.
I
I will
go
be
up-
here.
I go back and I come back and I give him a big hug and I'm like, te amo. Te amo.
Damn. And he's shaking. Like,
Me too.
yes. And
Okay.
last thing you see before you leave is him pulling out a little crystal vial with a dropper. Dropping it in his mouth. As you make your way out.
A conversation for another time. I run back upstairs. I see everybody in varying stages of, oh my God.
Distress.
Of
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
What's
I mean, Kalki wouldn't be in distress. She'd be. I think she would be just involved in debate with Mr. Griffith.
I think actually, since this could tie back when I said I was going to leave, I think Griffith isn't there, and you didn't run into him on the way. Could I be actually looking for signs of anything having left the room?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I'm looking for a bird, a dog,
You're
a
looking for
cat,
a bird,
whatever
a
this
dog,
creature
a
was.
cat.
Everyone got
Yeah.
all in hysterics about something outside, and it's all a bit much.
Go ahead and give
Chupacabra.
me.
He's muttering to himself, Chupacabra, my ass.
Oh God, you're like determined to find some other lead. I think that you're trying to see if people left the room, or
Yeah, if something left the room at least.
give me another survey.
Okay. Survey, yeah, for search track spot. Okay, it's not a focus, or it's not a it's not gilded, so it's
not
two. I've
gilded. You've got
pips.
2 dice.
Okay.
2 dice.
Yeah. Is it low stakes?
It's low stakes.
We got a 3.
You step outside and you are looking to see if anyone left, and it's at that point.
I basically took the other hallway. I imagine that Sienna comes the other way, so she misses me. I'm gone.
So this is what I'm going to give you. You're looking through, and you end up finding exactly what you're looking for. You find like the other door like ends up being like unlocked.
Hello.
You find evidence of foot scuffs, just little tiny clues that lead you. Yes, someone else did leave this room. Someone else was here. And as you follow the trail, it goes all the way to your personal chambers that you share with George. And your dog is with you, and the dog is like, and take a brain as you realize that someone from your room at some point in the evening left, entered that room, and then left again.
Okay, I'm pretty worried.
One
so
moment.
I mean, if you want to cut away, yeah. Oh my God.
So take you marked your brain, right?
Yeah.
From the realization? Okay.
Okay. If it's still on me, I'm gonna pull my gun and shoulder the door.
Yeah. You shoulder the door, you look around, and it's just your empty room. And your dog darts in, sniffing and sniffs, and is up on the side of the bed that he normally shares with you.
What? I'm gonna go over there and look.
Okay. And that is where I'm leaving you. And at that point, Sienna comes back in the room with the ledger.
Oh my God. What did I miss?
We know what it was.
Oh,
Lightkeeper,
You
could this have been a couple of minutes at least?
Yes. Yes.
In that time, while Mr. Griffith had left the room and the others were there, I think Kalki would have done a ritual to cast a ward of protection on Agatha. And she would have taken a bleed for that, but she would have and a brief kind of glow of a purple kind of light kind of circles around Agatha, and I finish casting the ritual, and I will say, of course, at these times, Mr. Griffith always is not here.
I got some
It's just how
information.
he is.
Information.
I sort of like would sidle up to Don Enrique and would say, Abuelo, what is La Chupacabra?
Tío, por favor.
Have I ever heard that word before?
Yes. Specifically in reference to Borinque folklore. You learn from Agosto. It's a type of vampiric creature. It feeds on blood, but usually from livestock. It's the kind of thing that you would encounter. It's the kind of thing you would encounter in the country. Like it's not necessarily a creature of the Fade in a traditional sense, in the old fair sense.
Un momento, Don Enrique, señor.
Yes.
¿Cómo es? Un chupacabra?
You can speak in English if you want to. I can understand both languages.
I
A
know that, but I
chupacabra.
need to practice.
It's okay. We can do some lessons in some other time.
Okay.
Sienna.
Wait, you mean like in the fairy tales?
Chupacabra, which stands for
Goat sucker?
Yes, in a sort of way. Something like that. The sort of way that it moves, it's a four-legged creature with very much a lot of fur and a head that looks very much like some sort of weird deer, but with a skull-like face, always able to eat on their prey, usually sheep or livestock. And people would find it in all corners from Borinque here, eating their livestock and finding them dead there in the countryside. Usually they don't go for humans, so this is very weird, very strange. Something else must be going on. I will go directly to the walls and try to inspect them to see if there is something else within them, apart from not being able to.
Well, before you do that, I have some information. I know who was in here. But
What are we talking about?
Where the hell is Uncle Harry? Hold on just a second. I go out the door and
we don't need it.
No, he needs to be here. No, he really does need to be here. I go to the doorway, look both ways, and I'm like, sorry, Atikalki, I'm not going to be very ladylike right now. Uncle Harry!
I didn't get a chance to inspect my room. I'm gonna run. Like as like a 68-year-old man can run. Like I'm going as fast as I can, and I'm coming around the corner like, what is it? What did I miss?
Well, I have a real world thing that you need to know about.
Well, fantastic. Everyone was getting very imaginative in there.
No, I mean it's actually true, but I know who was last in here with Preston.
My dear, you must not scream like that in an active crime scene with an active missing murderer.
Well, you
But
came,
what?
right? Well, you came running, right?
Yes, indeed. Well,
All right. Well,
what do we
here.
got?
It was Oliver Winston. He was here.
You know that's George's son.
You mean
That's
the
the
son
son.
of the... you already know about George.
The son of
George's
your
son.
current main squeeze, yes.
He wants you to keep that quiet.
No, why?
It's his business. All right. That's
We are
pretty
not going to
complicated.
judge you.
That clicks with the sleeve, with the cloth that you found, the linen.
Yeah, I'll fish it out of my pocket because it's the old timey. What is crime scene stuff? I'm the investigator, so I'll fish it out. Well, I think that fits with this, perhaps.
He was here. We need to go talk to him.
Something back at my room, but yes.
Wait, something's in
Wait.
your...
You recovered
Well, I was following the lead.
You recovered this fabric from your room.
No. In the crime scene.
The dog shakes its head and it's like, and points a paw at the
Crime scene.
I go scratch Big Boy behind the ears. Hey, bye. Are you being smarter than Uncle Harry right now? Do you want me to go check those rooms?
I imagine it's not too difficult.
Well, we have a few. Very nice. We have a few people we need to question. So I think we should start finding them.
If it's okay with you, even though I'm not the greatest at this, I think maybe Oliver Winston might respond better to me.
I leave it in your capable hands, though be careful because active at a scene of a crime.
Auntie Kalki, Auntie Agatha, I think I'm going to need your help.
Yes, at least.
Of course, my dear.
Can I go over to Enrique and I say, can you show me these words?
Let's come over here. And I start signaling her towards words. And I'll point at them and say, look at the signs over here. These are for protection from the bleed. The bleed that can get into you. Destroy you from the inside. When magic from the old fair arrives to these sections, it can pretty much mess with your brain, lady. And I will start pointing at a symbol on the book and say, the reason why this chupacabra thing has managed to get in here is not just because it can. It is a creature from folklore, from here, for Borinque. And these words that Augusto laid are more to protect the people from the bleed that could mess with them.
I turn and look back at Kalki and I say, okay, I'm going to do it. Can I do a sense on the wards? I want to
on the wards themselves.
I'm going to see if I can ascertain more of the pathway of these wards.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me a sense roll. It's low stakes.
Okay, so I'm rolling 2 dice. One is gilded.
Can I help with that, considering my knowledge?
Sure.
Absolutely. We spend a drive and describe how you help.
Okay, I will mostly be describing the way the runes are located and what they usually mean when they are standing in that way, or both runes being similar, what effect can it provoke, stuff like that.
So these wards were the one, just to make sure I know what's going, I'm clear here. These were the secondary wards that were breached.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm targeting.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and roll.
I got 2 6s and a 5 on the gilded.
Yes.
You
All
even
right.
help?
So would you like to take, you have a choice. Do you want to take the 5 for a mixed success and refresh the drive? Or do you want to take the 6?
You know what? I will take the mixed success because I actually there's a reason why I'm doing this.
Okay.
I will take the mixed success, so take your drive back, Tomas.
Mixed success. So you reach out, you're focusing on the wards, and you see all of these beautiful golden sigils in your mind's eye start appearing. A sun, a spiral, a line with 2 dots on the either side, just all of them. And you hear this like distant, like polyphonic music, and that's kind of coming in. And then you see what look like drips of bleed just weaving in between, in the sigils, slithering out. And then you could feel the darkness crawl up your neck, into your mouth. And then you come back to as you take a point of bleed.
I'm going to let them in.
What?
Oh, boy.
What does that move do?
Okay, so I take a point of bleed. When I take a bleed, 1 or more bleed marks, I also gain additional information about the phenomenon.
Okay. All right. So you take, all right. So you take in the bleed, and you let them in, and you dive deeper and splash into the darkness. For a moment, you're floating inside of water, just hovering. And then you get a flash of a mask, an ivory mask that looks like it's carved out of shell, but like a giant shell, all in one piece. And the mask comes off, and you see the eyes of a young man with longer hair, a blonde beard. It looks like Preston. You've seen Preston, but but Preston's eyes are hollow and intense and looking at you, and you don't think that's Preston. It's like something is wearing Preston's face. And you see several other masked figures appear around you as you get this deep, deep sense that someone has stolen old magic, something old. Whatever is here has been taken and is being warped by bleed and the fade. And you come back to. And you say without obsidian Plutarchs.
That's what I say, obsidian Plutarchs?
Yes. You don't know what that means, but you just say it out loud.
Obsidian Plutarchs.
Sienna, are you all right, my dear? What occurred? Tell me exactly what you saw.
I actually have pointed to my pad because I have a little pad with me. Mm-hmm. And when I went under,
writing?
I was automatic writing.
Yes. So it's at that point the pen drops, and then Kalki, your attention is brought, when you make that, is brought to the paper. And in it is a detailed stream of conscious description of the vision that she just underwent.
Ivory mask.
And I think bleed for me feels like it's seductive because it's pulling at me and telling me to use my abilities. But it feels like a zap, a shock, like a zap of adrenaline, of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in my throat and it's in my chest. But at the same time, it hurts so good. So I'm like, there's a bit of euphoria after that.
Center
What's
yourself.
going on here?
Center yourself. It is not wisest to step further now.
Yes, Auntie Kalki.
And I will make a sign of protection against her forehead and rest there. And yeah, just to center both of us in that moment.
I'm okay.
Kalki. Miss Kalki.
Yes.
Who is this, Mrs. Sienna?
I don't know, but it looked like Preston. The face I saw looked exactly like Preston Marlowe. And he wasn't alone. There were others there. Something was taken. Something was taken. It was ancient, pure magic. And it's been corrupted by bleed.
It was a description of an ivory mask, which is
Yes.
rather poignant in this moment as we are in the ivory mask, which has been set up by Don Augusto. And that
Yes.
I know that he is from Borike and he has objects from his home that are powerful relics. Perhaps we should ask him if there is something that is missing from his collection.
That is a
Well,
good
something
chance.
that he knows of that would be of significance to his people.
Miss Agatha,
Enrique. Oh, go ahead.
Agatha, have you ever heard in your explorations, have you ever heard of obsidian plutarchs?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking Agatha.
Agatha.
Oh, okay.
You too, Enrique. I'm wondering, have you ever?
Agatha, give me a. Actually, both Agatha and Tomas, give me a focus roll. One for the ivory mask, Tomas, and then Denver. Yours is going to be for Agatha, recalling if you have acquired it. If you've come across the obsidian plutarchs.
Ivory mask. Okay. I have 6 in my normal die and a 5 in the guided one.
Which would you prefer? Would you like to take your drive back and take the mixed success, or do you want to take the 6?
I have not spent any drive, as far as you know.
Oh, so take the 6.
I'm going to take the 6, exactly.
All right.
I'm going to use my resistance.
Mm-hmm. To avoid consequences.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
The highest is a 3.
Oh,
And those dice are
Okay.
stingy.
All right.
That's still better than I did before. The highest on the last roll was a 2.
You have no idea. Like obsidian plutarchs, someone's making something up. Like, or they're new, but not in your travels.
I'm terribly sorry, dear. I've never heard of them.
that makes 2 of us.
Enrique,
Yes.
el profesor, the ivory mask.
If I know of it.
I'm going to send you, because you got a 6.
Oh.
The ivory mask is an ancient relic from Borinque. It's what this establishment is named after. It's carved not from traditional ivory. The name is a misnomer. It's a distraction.
Yes.
But conch shells harvested from the seas around the island. This object's spiritual power, its purpose is to summon and bind primal spirits, spirits of nature, spirits of the ocean, spirits of wind. And it was last known to... No one knows where it is. Like, whether it is a lot of people, you would assume it would be in Agosto's collection, or somewhere in the back on the island, because La Casa Blanca, which is the chapter house of Candela in Santa Maria, where you're from, like, might have it. And honestly, the fact that you don't know where it is, and of all people, you would, alarms you. Which means it might have fallen into the hands of the Red Hand. And the Red Hand will sell that object to anyone.
Not the Red Hand.
Oh, those bastards again.
We are talking
Petty
about an important
scoundrels.
artifact here. What are you saying there, Kalki?
If
What
those
was it that
petty
you said, Kalki?
scoundrels, if those petty scoundrels are involved, that would mean that our timetable has gotten a little accelerated, even more perhaps.
Yes, when we are dealing with rich folk in here, or people that only care about money instead of the welfare of the land. We and all the people we know are in deep danger, deep shit, as you guys say.
I was going to say something else, but I'm trying to be a lady.
You can say what you want to hear. I don't fucking care.
Kalki senses this moment of a choice in Sienna and looks towards Sienna approvingly and gives a nod.
Oh, see, now it's no fun because you're giving me permission. Now it's no fun anymore.
I can say it for
forbidden
you,
nature
la
of it.
puta madre.
So,
We're in
have
the fuck bucket.
where in the fuck?
Lucky I'm not here, young lady.
Exactly.
Yeah. At this point, I think that I'm going to, you have your clues. Your circle is gathered. Where are we going? Are we going to go straight to Agosto and ask if anything is missing? Or are we going to go straight to the address of the Winston estate?
Could I have done a quick look through my room and then gone to Agosto while they were doing all of this?
Yes, but we've been going for how long? About an hour and a half?
Yeah, we're at 2 hours, 23 minutes.
Okay. We're going to take a break,
Woo!
get some water, get a snack.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we will continue this assignment.
Cool.
All right. Let me know, Steve, let me know when we are off air. We've returned, and our group finds themselves once again in front of their Lightkeeper in the office of Agosto Castillo, proprietor of the Ivory Mask, Lightkeeper of Candela, and you are all once again in his office. So, you have your lead. Was there something of importance you needed to share with me before questioning the witness?
Yes, actually.
Indeed, our preliminary investigation has revealed matters of some concern, Don Castillo.
All right.
Perhaps Enrique could lead with this, given that he is a little more familiar with the context.
I give Don Enrique my book that I had written everything down through automatic writing.
Okay.
Yeah. When you all present Don Enrique, what do you say? Like, how do you present it? Or do you just sort of bullet point everything for your Lightkeeper?
No, I will go towards him and say, Amigo, Augusto, I have something to ask of you here. There are some concerns in here that we will want to cover first and foremost. We know the name of the establishment is the Ivory Mask.
Yes.
Is there a reason why you decided to name it like that? Do you perhaps by any chance have this presumptive item with you?
No. I named the establishment the Ivory Mask after the relic. It has been one of my goals to track it down for many years now, but it is not in my possession.
Okay, we have done research together. You, me.
Mm-hmm.
So we can share our parts here. What have you found of this Ivory Mask? If you want to help us, to help you.
He goes to a little like library of books behind him, and he pulls out like a slim leather bound, almost a chapbook. Sets it on the desk. He opens it up, and it's all written in Spanish. But you can see that there's like English translations like on the borders. And he presents the book to all of you. There's a sketch of the Ivory Mask and what it looks like, its properties, just going into depth that it has to be worn. When it is worn, it will bring about spirits of the water, the land, the sea, for express commands. And it was typically used, by various shamans and spiritual people to converse with spirits to either tell them to leave, or to aid them in some way that would help the community, such as telling storm spirits to leave, for example, so that the hurricane doesn't destroy the village, or inviting spirits of, rain to come in times of drought. So this is very much very, very old and goes back to pre-Old Fair.
Yeah.
And he has some notes with a list of various names of places and people that it has shifted hands into. But it was last known to be in the hands of an incredibly wealthy collector in Santa Maria, and has since been missing for about since the war, about 10 years ago.
I point to the drawing of the mask and I said, that's what I saw exactly in my vision.
When you say that, there's a staccato moment where you get touched and you see the mask again, and then your voice gets caught in your throat and you realize that's not true. That's not true. It's changed. You don't know how, but it's changed. And you all see, like, visually, like, her, like, almost like a ghost, like, has gripped her by the throat, and then it lets go.
I'll pat her on the back. Like she choked on something.
You saw something. What did you see?
It's changed. It's not the same anymore.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Just that it's not what it used to be. Something's gone wrong with it.
The mask, you mean?
Yes.
Ivory Mask.
Yes.
The Red Hand, if they're involved, Did you all mention the red hand yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, then he doesn't say that. He says, well, whoever it has fallen into the hands of, that is deeply disturbing. If it has been changed, then perhaps we have lost one of our strongest assets, which is research.
I feel like we're a little off mark, though. Are we not investigating a murder?
You're correct. You are absolutely correct.
I hate to get lost in the weeds pursuing an artifact that you never owned in the first place, whatever purpose this artifact serves. I think we should try to find out exactly what happened here or why it happened.
Oliver Winston was the last person here.
And perhaps it is now a good time to mention the bird attack that happened earlier, wherein the bird was not a bird and indeed was a creature from myth and folklore.
Indeed.
Particularly of Borinque, as Enrique pointed out. There were claw marks. There were claw marks on the walls, which reeked of bleed. And
there was a lot of getting upset about a set of claw marks on the outside of the building.
Uncle Harry, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
What?
We hear
Enrique.
talking about
What is it?
a creature that we both have examined in the past. Something that is from the folklore that I have been studying in my research across the several years so far. We're talking about the chupacabra here.
¿Qué? What? What? La chupacabra?
Itself, there is a reason why it could go beyond the glyphs that you have placed.
You're right. No, you're right.
It all points to the
You're
same
right.
thing.
You're right. The Taino sigils that I use aren't going to...
They're not enough.
It's not that they're not enough, it's that they're the wrong thing. Borinque is... Our faith, our ways are different. It's not like here. Darkness is something that, in Borinque, we respect. We pray to the darkness for it to stay away so that we do not get sick. There are forces in the universe that are not kind. And Enrique and I grew up knowing that. That's the reason why we are both so unflinching when facing bleed, because...
You know it as we would know the shadows.
Yes, there's... But there's... La
Something
Chupacabra...
changed it.
Yes, the Chupacabra as we know it, yes, is a menace. Yes, it is frightening. But it is a warning. It is a punishment. It's not... It's supposed to frighten people. It attacks hearth and home through livestock. It's not...
Something might have changed it.
You're right.
Possibly the same thing that changed the mask.
Or someone has taken this cultural warning sign as a method of warning someone here. I mean, why not repurpose a folk belief and use it for your own ends?
Or use it as a weapon.
Because that is not respectful, Mr. Griffith.
I wouldn't do it. I'm not the disrespecter. I'm simply presenting another option.
Kalki, know your enemy. The kind of new fair citizens that would do this, Mr. Griffith is very familiar with.
Yes, you must be more cautious that not everyone is as respectful as you, dear Kalki.
Men of industry and wealth and new fair often do not have respect for those of us from the diaspora. Mr. Griffith is not one of those people. That is why he is here.
Indeed.
Mom and Dad cared.
They did. I am going to be taking a trip into, and he looks at a beautiful gilded mirror that he has behind him. I'm going to be going into the chapter house proper, which the chapter house proper is like the swanky digs that you all have access to, his library and everything that is behind secret doors. And I'm going to be refortifying the wards. When you come back, the room will be cleaned, and hopefully the bleed will be purged.
Be careful.
I will.
We can't afford to lose you.
Are you also going to contact Preston's? I mean, I don't know if he has family or anything like that. Shouldn't somebody reach out to them?
I will. I will make sure that all of the proper arrangements are made and that we have a proper wake in the coming weeks to celebrate our fallen friend. Mr. Patel, I'm going to have you perhaps fill in some shifts. Entertainment ones on the stage, of course.
Of course. And you see him like attempt to like do sort of like a quick magic trick in front of you to prove he's up to the task. Probably just like a quick card trick. And he just like flips a card out and immediately like, the cards are almost flying up as if magic, but you know that this is pure cardistry happening.
Excellent.
Rob, you've been practicing. How wonderful. I mean it. It's fantastic.
This is the sort of thing I can appreciate.
It's incredibly well practiced.
You see, like,
he goes a little bit red. Always.
He goes a little bit red from the praise he's getting. And however, his concentration doesn't drop, and he does manage to expertly take the card to one last massive, like, card shuffle and put it back in his pocket.
Good job.
So, Agosto Castillo send you all on your way. Gustavo is there. Mistress opens the car for everyone. You're all able to kind of pile into this beautiful, like, most recent model right off of the factory line town car. As you are just
V12.
Yes. Just cruising in style through the Red Lamp District, making your way from the Red Lamp District to a different, more upper class area of New Fair, to the Winston Estate.
Just to be clear, we're not making our way downtown.
No. My God.
No. You're making your way uptown.
We are on our way to the Eaves then?
The Eaves, yes. Thank you for reminding me, Denver. You are amazing. So focused on writing my own story, I forgot to read it in the city. No.
So we're pursuing that Uptown Funk.
Yeah, you're going to the Uptown Funk.
Car. I've been informed that the Uptown Funk will give it to you. So
yeah, it will. Your radio is playing superstar New Fair pop producer Mark Ronson as you're making your way.
Oh, turn this up. I love this song.
Yes.
And Sienna starts vibing.
Yeah. Just for a little levity more, I think that what you're actually listening to is some beautiful traditional like Borinque music, like a big band is kind of playing on the radio. Just steel drums, bomba drums, guitar, and it's just all very fitting. And then you all eventually arrive at
on the way.
On the way.
I would like to turn to the disbeliever, and just does the younger Winston know of your dalliance with his father?
Well, I'm not sure. I've always left that sort of thing to George, but I find it somewhat illuminating that both of the Winstons were here at the same time.
Indeed, I'm trying to wonder if any of us have seen the younger Winston pass through, or is this a first visit?
That's a very good question that I wish we'd asked Augusto.
So if I was still...
No?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're still going through the notes
I mean,
while they're talking?
Yeah, and actually, if I still have the ledger book, can I flip through the ledger book to kind of see if he's been here before?
You flip through, and yes, Oliver is a regular, and so is George.
I show the ledger to Uncle Harry and to Kalki.
Sometimes on the same night,
sometimes,
but it's very rare that they're on the same night.
I mean, it could be a coincidence, though.
There's 2 or 3 nights where they're there at the same time.
I feel certain that one would see the other, and it's not exactly known in nicer circles as a den of...
debauchery, sin.
Yes, it's a place you go to
indulgence.
indulge your tastes, and so I feel if both father and son showed up on the same night, that would be a lively family conversation that I'm sure has...
I will say this, you do find this. The night... This was one of the nights that they're both there at the same time.
But see here, 2 months ago, same time as well, so...
Mm-hmm.
I assume that they might even arrive together, but...
They're always signing at different times.
Okay. All right. Well, it's maybe a conversation topic to keep in your back pocket, but I would caution drawing too close a line between the 2 points, because we may find ourselves evicted from George's residence into the street, because I don't think he likes this getting out. So that could be a problem.
Most don't.
Yes.
Most don't.
Well, what should we say?
I think we should distract George. Perhaps we could have a small conversation with him while others go and talk to Oliver.
Preston, or Oliver. Oliver. Preston's the dead one.
Or perhaps we can just lure George away, and then you can speak to Oliver, or get one out in the garden and have the other in the house, or however you wish. I don't have any strong plan, but...
Well,
I think I can handle distraction.
I can help with that. I'll go talk to Oliver. I mean, I think I've seen him at a distance. We're close to the same age. Maybe there's a party going on at the estate, for all we know.
Well, based on what he was potentially there for, he may be more interested in Mr. Patel than you.
Maybe the 2 of us can go in
I sort of
together.
give a little bow and say, yeah, I go in a little bow and say, of course, I should be able to handle this with Sienna's help.
Yes.
Shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, that's why Auntie Cocky told me to dress nicer.
We've set all this up, and I really, really like it. I would like you all, as a group, to give me a sway check.
Sway.
Yes.
I'm good at that.
It's a group check.
Do you mind if
everyone
I roll
together.
that?
I'm gonna.
I've got, it's a gilded for me, and I've got 2 dice in it, 2 points in it.
Yep. Okay.
I'm
So I'm
gonna
gonna
burn
spend
a
it-
drive.
Same here. I
Drive.
was gonna burn a drive as well.
So how do we...
So
I'm a
let's
little
see.
unfamiliar.
Ooh.
Hold
Check
on.
is that
Let me double check on group checks because it's a thing. I will pull up a zero.
That is a 6 on my gilded.
Oh, you rolled already? Woo!
Oh.
I got a 6 on my gilded as well. What?
I get my drive back!
Nice.
Hooray!
Do we all get a drive back, or how's this work? I'm hearing people getting drives back. Some of the mechanics are a
Here
little
we go.
not clear.
Yeah, the blah, 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 blah. Test. This is going to be medium stakes, by the way, just letting you know.
Okay.
So everybody rolls. When helping an ally, remember you are offering aid. Use this opportunity to support their time. I'm just double checking because they do group checks all the time. Regardless, you guys make your rolls. 6 on a gilded. It goes perfectly according to plan. You roll up. There's a little distraction that Agatha pulls. Mr. Patel and Ms. Ballard are able to kind of take Oliver aside.
I actually think I should stay out of the way. Because George would want me here. Yeah, George would want me here. This would be awkward for him.
I think that because you got a 6 on the gilded, you manage to calm George down enough and cover it to have a separate conversation with him. Because what you wanted was some of you talking to Oliver and then some of you talking to George, right? Was that the ideal situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It all falls into place. Here's your little bonus for it being in the gilded. The bonus is George is a combination of distracted and calmed enough to have a conversation with Harry or Mr. Griffith. And Oliver is at ease to speak with the handsome magician and the lovely regular. The rest of you, where do you see yourselves also fitting? Do you want to stay with Sienna and continue to question Oliver and just allow Harry to handle George?
I mean, that seems pretty good.
Yeah, because Agatha and Mr. Griffith were going to deal with George.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Sienna and Arif were going to deal with the younger Winston.
Yes.
I think I would have taken Enrique aside. Adhyapak, perhaps we should take a quick little look around to see if there is anything indicative of the taint here. As I would like to pull out the bleed detector again and try and attune to the aura of the Winston estate and try and sense and find something.
If we're together while you're doing this before we split up, I think Harry would just say, make sure that you're not noticed doing a lot of that. I think George comes across as a bit more suspicious of such things than me and might become insulted.
So,
fair warning.
You drop that little tidbit. The groups kind of split their ways.
Oh boy.
Splitting the party.
We're going to start with Agatha and Harry talking to Mr. Winston. And I would imagine that Agatha is kind of aside, knitting, calm, while you're out in the gardens, as you said. Agatha, you're within sight, but not necessarily earshot, while George and Mr. Griffith are having a moment. And he's like, well, if you were trying to get me to be more public about things, this most certainly is a method.
What's wrong with the lieutenant visiting his old captain? It's been only 3 years since the war, so it's good to catch up. Why don't we have a stroll around the grounds? Maybe I can introduce you to my friend, Ms. Agatha.
Yes, your friend from the museum. Perhaps.
She's a very smart and wise woman with plenty to share about the world. We just have a quiet and calm walk. Nobody knows anything. Nothing's going on. We're two old friends.
So what do you need to talk to me about?
Well, I was a little concerned. Last night, my dog led me back to my room. Something had, I don't know, upset him. You know how he is. And I don't know, something about the room was just off, and I had found a scrap of cloth, and I was concerned. I'm not sure. I wanted to consult with you on the whole matter because it's not the sort of thing I'm very good at.
Still going off and solving mysteries. Now
Yes.
that there isn't a war to fight.
Not wise enough to retire and move on with my life. Always looking for more guidance.
I don't know if I can help you with this, but it is good to see you.
Indeed. Well, I'm sorry, I'm a little me character on the spot. Where I'm like, what do I make up?
You're just like in the garden. You just, I'm gonna jump over to our young people for a moment. Oliver, you guys are kind of sitting in a nice parlor with some drinks, some tea, some snacks, and blonde hair, clean shaven, blue eyes, comfortably dressed, kind of a little tousled. And he's like, "Oh, well, so good to see people from the club coming to pay the call. So what do I owe this visit?"
I'm going to actually let Arif take the lead in this. He has the more sway than I do, so.
Okay, full disclosure, I am not a smooth talker IRL. I am one of the most awkward people you'll meet IRL, so this is going to go very funny for people on stream as I try to smooth talk my way through this.
Give it a shot.
Master Oliver, it's a pleasure to see you. We're here just on some business from the club. Master Don Castillo has informed us of some mishap. We're just here to ask to do some formal questioning, of course. It's just a formality on your part.
Oh my gosh! Is there an issue? Is someone hurt? I mean, I know it's in the Red Lamp district, and there's lots of crime.
Well.
So.
Yes. There's no way really to put this delicately, is there, Sienna?
No, I don't think so. I'm sorry. We're not really the most artful people in the world, but
Master Preston has been found dead just today.
Preston Marlowe.
What? That's not.
Shh. It's
all right. We know you're not at fault. It would not make sense for you to be at fault. We're just curious. What was Preston talking about that night that you met?
I reach out and I take his hand to kind of.
I just saw him. I had a business meeting this morning, and I had to leave. He was fine when I left.
I reach out and take Oliver's hand. I said, "It's okay. You're not in trouble. We just want to hear your story."
Can I attempt something here?
Yes.
I want to attempt to sort of like calm him down by doing like a magic trick in front of his eyes.
Ooh. Okay.
Can I assist you with that? If you're rolling something, I'll give you a drive to assist. I'll spend a drive to assist.
Go ahead and give me a. What would you like to roll? What do you think?
Perhaps like a hide, like a sleight of hand, just sneaking a distraction, like a distraction to like.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a hide roll. Middle stakes.
Right. I will give you a drive. I'll give you a drive to assist because I'm holding his hand.
I've got this ability from my magician thing called misdirection, which means that
Okay.
the first cunning an ally spends on a roll where I'm trying to distract the target from what is happening, I make a hide roll, and the first cunning that someone spends is worth +2 dice instead of +1 dice.
Oh, nice. Roll them bones.
Yeah, I've given
Plus,
you a
it's
drive.
just-
Yeah,
Yep,
I'm giving
it's
you
also
a
gilded as
drive.
well.
Ooh.
Oh.
Guild is so that's 2 drives and rolling. Okay, that's a 4 on the gilded, and that's
Okay.
my highest. So that's a mixed success on the gilded, and you get your drive back.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So
I like getting my drives back.
his attention snaps to you as he looks at the and you like capture his attention, but the way he's looking at you as you're doing the trick makes you feel a little on the spot, a little uncomfortable. There's almost like a thirst, like a lust in his eyes as you draw his attention, and it makes you really uncomfortable. Take a brain.
Right?
As you feel under the spotlight of this very pale-faced witch gentleman, sort of leers at you in a way that perhaps you didn't intend. But you get his attention, and he immediately starts calming down. Oh, yes. I don't know who could have come into the room after us. I did have to cut off part of my shirt because I didn't want to wake Preston up.
Is that why you did that? I've never seen that done before.
Oh, I read about it in a book from Otherwhere, and I thought it was silly, and until I found myself in the exact same situation. So
you just—that's interesting. So you just cut your sleeve so you don't it just kind of slide out from under.
yeah.
Oh.
I'm very wealthy, so as you can see, so I could just buy another shirt. I know that's not the case for everyone in New Fair, but Preston worked very hard.
You should use your abilities when you have them. Yes, go on.
No, Preston was very talented and worked very hard. I don't know why anyone would want to kill him.
I'm reading him. I'm going to read him.
Go ahead and give me a focus. No, read. Sorry.
So
give me a read roll.
Can I help her with this?
Yes.
I'm like a master. So yeah, take a
Yes.
drive.
Excellent. So I also have 2 dice to begin with and read with a gilded, and now a drive. And I'm actually going to spend a drive of my own.
Okay.
So that's going to be 4 dice.
Remember, our limit is always 6 dice, just to keep your head. So you can never give more than 6.
Got it. Okay. So that is a 4 on the gilded.
4 on the gilded? Okay. So you're reading him, and as he's talking, he's telling the story, he's confused, you're looking at him, and it's at that point, as he's speaking, oh yeah, he's telling the truth. He's being truthful. And then all of a sudden you piece together an incredibly uncomfortable truth as you take a brain and realize that this is not the face you saw in your vision. There is no beard here. There is no stature. There is just, it's not the same man. You're not quite sure what that means, but you know that the person that you saw in your vision that looks like Oliver is not Oliver, and it chills you to the bone.
I sit back and kind of clear my throat a bit. would you excuse me, Mr. Winston?
Are you in need of the washroom?
Yes,
Oh yeah, it is just down the hallway, the second door down.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
I'll see myself over there. You two, I kind of nod to Arav to let him know that I'm okay, and kind of follow that up with a little wink, and it's like, you two enjoy yourselves.
I do give her like a concerned look as she passes by. Like, I know that she is not usually the kind of person to do this, but I do concentrate on the task at hand right now.
I'm gonna go find. I will go to the washroom, but then I'm gonna go find Kalki and Enrique.
Okay.
You're on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from that, I am going to jump to Kalki and Enrique.
Okay.
You're quietly, subtly, still riding off that 6-way roll, making your way through the estate with your bleed detectors up, looking for a source. Go ahead and give me a sense roll. One of you.
Okay.
And then if the other one wants to assist, you're more than welcome to spend a drive and describe how you are helping.
I'm quite great at sense. Oh, no, I'm not that great at sense.
I'm good at sense.
Okay, I can help you with that. Spend the drive, right?
Yes, spend a drive and describe how you're. You can feel free to just sort of describe how you're helping.
Okay.
I'm going to say that this is a high stakes role.
All right.
It's quiet. You're trying to stay quiet. You're trying not to draw attention to yourself. It's very tense. So, just letting you know, if this goes off, something is going to get the attention.
Okay.
Probably whatever it is you suspect you're looking for. Just letting you know what the consequences are going to be before you roll.
So then in that case, I hold... So, sorry, go ahead. You're
I'm picking up here my my bleed detector. It's a ring tied to my neck, and I'm going to spin it, and if there is some sort of bleed detected, it just turns red on this inner circle.
All right. Add an additional die to the roll for the equipment.
And... there's one drive that is added by Enrique. I am also going to put a drive into that.
Yes, and then another roll for invoking the bleed detector.
I'm also using my own bleed detector as well. I have it.
You're both of you using combined, No. It's my game. Add another die.
Woo! Let's
my game. Let me do what I want.
Okay. That is going to be a 6.
Okay.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah.
You're channeling. You both have your bleed detectors up. You're sneaking through the house, and the bleed, the energy, leads you through until you find a doorway at the back of an empty closet deep in the house. And there is just dark bleed energy radiating off of the door.
This is going to be potent, whatever it is we will encounter.
You bring your tools to get in. Talkie.
And then you feel the energy start to shift and move and pull. And you could feel it like moving, Kalki, up. Like from the crack of the door, you see like shadows of bleed going up into the ceiling, through the ceiling, and then it's gone. You can still sense the bleed, and it's pulling. There's still bleed behind the door, but there's a concentrated force, a creature of some kind is above you and making its way through the house.
It is going upstairs. We must pursue immediately. And I am going to, put my hand into the sari, into the overcoat of the sari that is on
Yes.
top. And I'm going to pull out my katar. And I will, there is a little, the katar is a punch dagger from Ispatpur, and it has a little needle on with the handle that I prick with my thumb, and blood from my thumb runs down the blade in the center, and the entire blade starts flickering with a blue fire that starts growing and intensely until it grows to a white flame. And I am running and pursuing the bleed.
The creature, because you can still you can see like the bleed is like a shadow, and as you're pursuing, the eyes on the skull were glowing the most at the door, but they stay glowing down the hallway, even though they were dimmer before. Enrique, what are you doing in response?
If I see Kalki running, I will look at the door and grab some utensils that I have at my side from having done heists in the past with Kalki. I have prepared some different tools to open doors in case it is closed. I'm firstly going to try to open it manually.
Go ahead and give me a control roll.
Control. Okay.
Yeah, with an extra die for the tools. Don't forget to add those tools to your gear.
All right. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
If you want to, I cannot have them with me. I'm sure.
No. That's why all of your equipment slots are empty, and you pick them when you need them.
Okay.
So just put custom gear, lock picking tools. You're all good. I just want to make sure you have it for future scenes in case you run into other locked doors.
No.
And then give yourself an extra die for using the tools. And go ahead and just give me a high stakes control. Control.
How do I make it high stakes?
No, it's just letting you know how difficult it's going to be.
Okay.
The consequences are more severe for high stakes rolls than they are for medium or low stakes. And some people have abilities that are triggered whether things are high stakes or low stakes.
It's a 3 on my part.
That's a 3? Okay.
Yeah.
So you go in, click, and it opens. Meanwhile, in the garden, you and George are talking. He stops. Oh, my old friend. I just realized, he glances at his pocket watch. I am late for an incredibly important appointment. Why don't you and Agatha continue to enjoy the gardens? Stay, and I will send for you, and we can spend an evening here together.
Out of character, Agatha, help me, we gotta keep him here.
Sparrow!
And I will say that was not in a whisper. That was loud enough, in conversation for Agatha to hear it.
Where he was like, I have to step away.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should walk you to your door then.
Yes, indeed.
Give me a read check, both of you.
Oh boy, I've got disadvantage on this. I have no ranks.
This is medium stakes. It's low stakes.
Then I will keep it low stakes by both dice were a 2.
2? Okay. You have no idea.
That is a 4.
A 4? Agatha, you don't know why, but he wants to leave. He doesn't want to go slowly. But you're not sure why. There's been nothing no darkness in the sky. Your bleed detector hasn't gone. Like, do you have a bleed? You don't feel any bleed. Like, you're missing something. You're missing a detail. Something has happened, but you just don't know because there's no reason for him.
We can talk about some of the places that your company has exported from. And
yes, of course. Yes, of course. His eyes kind of light up as you start talking business. And he's like, oh, of course, Agatha Payne, like trading, business. Come with me. We'll walk back to the estate. He starts walking with you, and then he's like, yes, I'm actually been looking into acquiring some relics from Istanbul. They are, I don't really believe in those kinds of superstitions, but I believe it's important to preserve history, and so many of these countries are so unstable after the Great War that I really think that it would be much safer in private collections here in Old Fair. He says that as he makes his way to the estate.
What a dick.
We could preserve the cultures of the indigenous peoples by seeking out skilled artisans from within the communities to provide replicas. I
think that would be an excellent idea. That way we can tell people they're
supply and demand.
Well, we can tell people that they're actually authentic, even though they were just made 5 minutes ago.
My goodness, Captain, what a scam you're trying to run. My goodness.
It's not a scam. It's just...
No, not at all. It's meeting the needs of supply and demand, and it's ensuring that the resource is continually available in a more ethical means than simply taking the artifact.
You're just going to want to make sure this news doesn't get out. Some folk might get a little upset, not knowing it's not authentic.
No, it's fine.
If it's the artisans of the region, then it is technically authentic.
Absolutely. It's just everyone gets all fussed up about time and how long ago things were.
It is important to know the history of the item.
I think Agatha would be talking to George, but at the same time she would see Kalki just going like.
In her mind's eye, Kalki astral projects disapproving.
Somewhere.
No, what Agatha is suggesting is having the indigenous skilled artisans make replicas of the item, so the original item remains with the people it belongs to.
Yeah.
But George is totally reading that the wrong way.
Or
that is
George
not on Agatha.
Or George is reading it the right way, and Agatha is playing this man for a fool. There's lots of layers here.
Somewhere. Grace. Hey, Griffith, Mr. Griffith. Somewhere in your mind, you're thinking, "Oh, Sienna was right about this guy." Oh.
It belongs in a museum.
He gets up, and when you get to the door, he's like, the lieutenant and I have been overseas for many wars, and I am so glad that the last war is the last war. And the differences between authentic of an ancient culture or a modern culture is negligible. Everything is always of its culture, whether it was crafted 5 minutes ago or whether it was crafted 100 years ago. It is just about having the appropriate tools. Now, please enjoy the day. I'm going to have some snacks and drinks brought out to you. And Lieutenant, hopefully I will see you later in the evening.
Yes, we will have another rendezvous one of these days and catch up on old times.
He pulls out a piece of dry jerky, hands it to the dog, and rather quickly heads inside.
I'm going to look at Agatha
At that moment, Kalki, you are running, and you see coming around the corner, Sienna, looking, and you run into one another.
Oof! It's not him.
Something.
It's not him. It's someone else.
Whatever it is abound in this estate itself. A massive shadow looms and lurks and creeps as we speak. It is going upstairs right now, and she will bring the Qatar up, which is her, what is it called?
Ghost
Blade. Her ghost blade. We need to act now, Sienna.
I know where it's going. I think I know where it's going. I pull out my bleed detector, which is the
pocket watch.
The pocket watch that's inscribed a phrase from my childhood favorite book, and it says "Curiouser and Curiouser."
Oh.
And when I pop it open,
mm-hmm.
the watch face it actually does not work. It doesn't tell time. It tells bleed. It'll turn
the watch face.
Mm-hmm.
You open it up, and for the first time that you've ever used it, it's solid black, radiating with blue energy on the corner. You have never seen it do that. Normally, it'll move, but you've never seen it full like this before.
Oh. I let it lead me in the direction. Go.
There's a smash cut to Patel and Oliver.
Oh no.
Oh, I can't believe that. I can't believe that Preston is gone.
I understand I understand that it must weigh heavily on your mind. Was there anything particular that you were speaking about that day? Any artifacts, anything at all? Any new ideas for plays?
No, I mean, there was one thing that kind of. That. And then he clams up.
Just let me know anything at all. It's all right. Just let me know anything at all. It could be, even if it's nothing at all, it could just lead us in the right direction. We need.
Right. Go ahead and make a sway roll.
Sway. I'll be spending a drive on this as well.
Okay. And this is middle stakes. So.
Middle stakes, all right.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6 and a 1 on my gilded, so I'll take the 6 that I rolled.
6 on the gilded. Okay.
No, I didn't roll a 6 on the gilded. I rolled a 1 on the gilded. So, but
I'll take the 6. You're going to take the 6. Okay.
Yeah.
He takes a deep breath. He looks down. The only unusual thing that happened that night was I came in after some drinks with Preston after he was done performing, and then we went up the stairs, and I thought out of the corner of my eye, I thought that I saw my father.
Your father in the room?
At the club.
At the club.
I
see.
But there are so many old men, gentlemen's smoke jackets. I was just happy to be there with Preston. There's something about him that is a lot like you. As he sort of leans in a little suggestively, his eyes shimmering as he looks at you.
I would love to stay to chat, but Preston's killer is still on the roof, and I must pursue him. Perhaps we can do this another time?
Yeah. Another time, then. And as he goes to lean back, I need you to give me... Give me a survey roll. High stakes.
Survey. High stakes. I will
If
you
spend
don't-
a drive.
If you
on
do
this.
not
Wow.
get this, something... You see a creeping shadow in the corner of the room
That's
as
a
he's getting ready to pull back.
big success.
Mixed success. As he pulls back and says, yes, perhaps another time, you see it. It fully forms from a shadow, a four-legged, vaguely canine-like creature, but more stretched with long claws, long fingers, digi-legged up with a vaguely like skull, maul, canine-like face, glowing red eyes from inside of the eye sockets. It's come and you're able to he gets hit by the creature as it clamps down on his neck, slams him into the wall, and it's over him, and you are able to reach in and grab his middle section as a reflex, but it causes you to slam back onto the ground, and your head hits the ground. Take a body and a brain as this thing
I have 3 brains. Before we put out, I've got 3 brains.
Would you like to roll to resist? Do you have a resistance?
This is nerve. Would this be nerve?
Do you have a nerve resistance?
I do not.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you
You
do. You
mean,
got
are
one.
you getting your fourth brain, or are you getting your third brain right now?
He's getting his third brain right now. Yeah.
Third brain.
You have an option to try and resist it if you would
I don't
like.
have a nerve resistance. I've got cunning and I've got intuition. I don't have
Intuition.
nerve.
Nah. Oh, no. It's not nerve resistance. It's I made you make it an intuition roll, or excuse me.
Yeah.
It was
I will
It
try
was a
to
survey. It was a survey.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead
I
and
should try to resist it.
okay.
So that's just a straight roll. All right.
Yes, straight roll.
Come on, man.
Nope. That's a failure. 3.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you slam, you take it, and you have him, but he's got a neck wound, and then the creature turns and looks at you and goes, ah! Meanwhile, back down at the gardens, the two of you hear what sounds like a loud door opening from the inside.
Yeah, I was kind of mid,
And
I'm sorry I'm useless in this situation. I just bang. What was that?
That didn't sound good.
I'm gonna
We have to
immediately
go.
open the door.
you open the door and you're looking around, and there's a moment where everyone is running. The camera has several shots of people pursuing in terror, and at that point the door is kicked open and everyone else in the circle is flooding into the room. You see Patel on the ground, blood spattered, him having injured his head. He has Oliver in his arm, in his right arm, who has a gaping neck wound, bleeding down the front of his shirt. And then you see this horrible creature out of folklore in the corner. Its maw, 2 large pincers, dripping still with the fresh blood of Oliver.
We're all here?
And you're all here.
You
And
point my
see
gun at
this-
it. That's an ugly cat.
Unhand
I am
my
going-
ward, and I will run forward. And,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to
Okay.
shoot the cat.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to do popcorn initiative, which is
Alright.
one of my favorites. I am going to start with Mr. Griffith, and then Mr. Griffith, you popcorn to the next person, and then you popcorn to the next person. That way you can all coordinate the best times that you can go based on who has an idea.
When you say popcorn, you mean I hand it off to someone? Someone says,
Yes,
I want to
you
go
hand-
now, and
you
then they go?
hand it off either to Whitney or either to Sienna or Kalki. And then we'll keep handing it off as people have things to do until everyone has gone, including La Chupacabra.
I think
Okay.
in advance, I'm going to pass it to Kalki because you had another thing you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Kalki, you go first. What are we doing?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. I would just seeing my ward having bleeding from the head. There would be just like this very cold anger that comes onto Kalki's face as she just step away from my ward, and she will dash forward, and she will twirl in like a Kalaripayattu form, and like twirl. It looks like a dance when she kind of twirls and in the air comes down with the Qatar into the skull of the creature.
Okay. Go ahead and what do you want to do? I'm going to ask you a question, Kalki. Do you want to use strike or do you want to use sense?
I would like to use sense in this because
if you use sense, the consequences will be high stakes.
Okay.
And they will be of a supernatural nature instead of a physical nature. Are we good with that?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. Roll sense. Would anyone like to donate drives or help?
Yeah, I'll donate an intuition drive.
Okay.
I actually am going to help by taking a brain mark.
Oh.
And I am going to open myself up and commune with this creature as a distraction.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. And because of go ahead. What does it say?
So commune is you can make a connection with a nearby sentient phenomenon in order to communicate with it. Take a brain mark and make a sense roll to open an empathetic or telepathic connection to ask a question. On a success, you get an answer. On a 4 to 5 result, the phenomenon will ask a question in return.
Ah!
Ooh, okay. All right.
And then I guess since I didn't mean to hand off my action, but I'll queue up behind this, and then make my shot afterwards.
Spending a drive to help doesn't count as giving up your action.
Oh no, I meant like I was gonna shoot, but I can wait till after they're done.
Go ahead and roll.
I rolled. It is a gilded 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
I was planning on.
You did add the extra. You did add the extra die for the distraction, right?
I didn't actually.
Excellent. All right. Tomas, you said you were going to do something. What else would you like to do?
Well, I was going to a room. I don't know if I'm in the battle there.
No. I had everybody. Oh, yes. You unlocked the door.
Yes. That's the last thing I did.
That's right. Would you like to be in the room?
When I hear all the shouts and stuff, yeah, I will run over there.
No worries. You are in the room. If anything, we'll just have you go last in the popcorn initiative.
Okay.
Can I make my shot?
In one moment, I just want to get the resolution for was it survey roll?
No, for
your
who?
sense roll.
It is
For
sense.
I want to ask.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Is this high stakes?
Yes.
Sienna?
Yes.
Would I be able to give her a drive?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take a drive.
Okay, then I will reduce the cunning drive because I have this ability called Cool Under Pressure. Wherein if this roll is high stakes, I can spend cunning always.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I actually took a drive too. So I'm rolling 4 dice, including a gilded. Okay.
Here we go. And then after this, we will bounce over to Harry.
Okay. I have a 4 on the gilded, but I have 2 6s.
Oh man, go with the crit.
I'm gonna take a crit. I'm gonna take the crit.
Okay. So this is how I'm going to narrate this so far. Kalki has run in. The blade explodes with fire, stabs it into the chupacabra, and the thing shrieks out with agony as you deeply, deeply harm it.
Oh.
Meanwhile, as it's distracted, you reach into its mind.
Yes.
What question do you ask?
Who controls you?
You get an intense vision of the man, the bearded man, and the mask, and then the man, and then the mask, and you hear a name just being the Obsidian Plutarch Hierophant Master and then he says a name in La Lengua, which is the language of Borinque.
All right.
And the name he speaks, Guayaba, Lord of the Underworld. I follow his commands, and he has dubbed his unclean cub Death. As you feel that this creature has been commanded to kill Oliver unconditionally.
Phew.
Get Oliver out of here!
The gunshot goes off. Roll.
I have a
strike.
gilded 2 on control.
Excuse me, control.
Yeah.
Yes, roll control.
Yeah, let's go control it, baby.
Control!
I got a 6 on the gilded die.
Woo!
You fire on it.
I'm gonna refill my nerve drive.
Yeah, you fire on it, and it's a clear shot right through its head, out, bone and matter, fragmenting on the wall.
It's like I would like to think right at the end of the telekinetic connection, it just because it's just fully cut off.
Ow!
Yeah.
What? It goes through its head. Sienna,
Yeah.
who do you want a popcorn initiative to?
I
Sienna?
want to pop. Okay, I'm gonna popcorn to. Who has something ready? Agatha.
All right, Agatha.
I am going to use my survival gear, which includes a first aid kit,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to use that along with my nursing skills from the war
Hell yeah.
to try and stabilize Oliver.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me a control
Maybe
or
focus.
Focus. Let's do focus because you're trying to remember your old skills. So just roll focus.
Yep.
Control.
I'm going to add a drive to that.
I will too, if I can donate drive as well.
Yeah. How do you want to help?
Maybe I'm too busy. I thought maybe you had to. If you have to be available to help, then I think I'm
Yeah.
busy.
No worries.
Oh, highest is a 3, and I don't have any resistance left.
Okay.
Can anyone spend resistance to help an ally's roll?
No. It's okay. So you go down and you are trying to remember, trying to give him like help, and it's at that point You feel yourself as you get close to the wound and you're close to the bleed. You hear sirens, bombs. All of a sudden, you're not in the room anymore. You're on the front line of the war. This is a different soldier. He's injured. He's bleeding. You see your wife is over your shoulder saying, "We have to go. We can't save this one." What do you say, Agatha, in this moment?
I have to try.
He's gone. We have to get back to Harry. Harry needs us. And you look up and you see 10 years younger Lieutenant Griffith. You see, like, you know, still gray, but more hale. You see him standing there, like, overlaid with his full uniform and his rifle and firing on some creature that he must have forgotten, that he must have blocked out. And it's at this point you feel yourself getting hit of a rifle on the back of your head, and you crumple. This is what you see. You see her go down and help, and she just starts shaking and shaking. And like, Harry, you can feel it. You can sense, like, while you don't believe in bleed, you know what you felt in the war. You know what you felt in the front lines, and you're starting to feel it again coming from Agatha. And Agatha, take a brain from this situation triggering your PTSD from the war. And you see her go, cry out, start shouting out what you heard her shouting. She's like talking to someone that isn't there, and then she just passes out.
Immediate guilt because the sounds of gunfire. Pretty good trigger for PTSD, so yeah.
Agatha, where would you like to popcorn this to?
Let's popcorn it to Sphere. To Pavel.
Cool.
Yeah, Patel,
quick
you're
question.
on the ground.
Oh, wait, he's
I'm
out.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, Patel's out?
Quick
Yeah.
question,
Yes.
Lightkeeper. Would my circle of protection have come into effect here?
Yes, she didn't take any bleed.
It's not a bleed.
How much is a protector from? One mark?
It's 1 mark.
Okay, no worries. You take that brain, and then you see, like, when she falls on the ground, that glowing purple energy that you cast just materializes and appears around her and then fades. Remove
A spinning mandala blooms in front of her and just like swirls and then disappears.
And then you wake up a few seconds later, the mark removed from you.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. And don't forget, we have the circle, nobody left
We do.
behind, just in case that comes up too.
Yeah. But to Patel, Patel, how are you responding to all of this?
So, I've just gotten, my head has just, I've fallen to the ground, my skull has a small crack and through which blood is flowing out. I disoriented, try to get to my feet. I tried to like drag Oliver to a safer place and try to like get to a safer place myself.
Okay, make me a move roll. High stakes.
A move, high stakes. I'll be using I'll spend 2 cunning to push at like 3 dice.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just add 3 dice.
And would that one count as a nobody left behind as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
you would
So
get an extra die.
dice.
You get an extra die. Yeah, Oliver counts as part of the group for this purpose.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He's one of our lads.
Yep.
Oh, that's all failure. The highest is a 3.
Oh God!
The highest is a 3. Okay. You get up, try to get up. You're trying to drag Oliver away as best as you can, and your knees give out from underneath you because you're in so much pain. Like hot tears are streaming down your eyes, and Oliver is like just dead weight at this point. Like he's conscious, but he's it's almost like he's been paralyzed, and you're not sure how. Take a brain, as the entire situation is just mortifying as you're trying to get out and you just can't move, and that creature is still there.
I'll take the brain a bit later because I have 3 brain. I have to still decide on the scar. So I'll talk with you about the scar I get, and I'll note the brain down for the next session.
Oh,
First
you have a scar now? First scar. Okay. No, this is our first scar. Like, do you want some time to think about it?
I would like to talk with you about the scar before I fully commit to it. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. No worries. At that moment, because you've taken it's your 4th brain, correct?
Yes, my 4th brain.
He passes out, like legitimately passes out. Totally like out. Where would you like to hand the initiative off to next? Who's ready?
I think
I'm
Enrique
the only
hasn't
one.
gone in.
Enrique.
Enrique hasn't gone in.
Enrique, you come in last, running up into the entrance, and you see this horrifying scene.
Yeah, you hear
all
screaming and
unfold.
fighting, and then bang. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I come from the other side of I assume there is some staircase or something like that towards the 1st floor, and I see you all fighting there with. How do I see this chupacabra? Yeah.
So this is what you see. You see the creature, mostly as you've seen it in sketches, but bigger. And its fur, as I said, it's got that weird ichor on it. Like, it looks like the creature of folklore through the filter of a nightmare. Like, La Chupacabra was already scary. This thing is bigger and warped from all of the sketches that you have seen. It is worse. And it is it's more similar to the monsters of Old Fair that you have encountered and that you have studied while you've been here in New Fair.
Okay.
Than what you remember from home. It's like an unholy fusion of these two things that should not be to your eyes.
Great. On that regard, I'm going to use here. I'm going to ask you firstly. I have an ability called Occult Researcher. I can ask the GM for an important detail that you would recognize from your studies, but has not yet been revealed in the scene. Do I know of anything that scares the chupacabra or gets it to run away? Or a weakness, maybe?
You know that, yes, you do. You know La Chupacabra, in particular, has 3 folkloric weaknesses.
Okay, I have to take 1 brain for that.
Wait, but didn't I blast it? Isn't it dead?
No, just a second. There's 3 things it's weak against: fire, sunlight, and goat horn.
Goat horn. That's very specific.
I left it at home.
A little bit of hair of the dog, so to speak.
I don't know if I have something with fire on me.
We're in a room with fire.
Is there fire on the room?
Yeah, there's a lamp.
There's a lamp. Okay, I'm going to grab the lamp from the side and smash it on the back of the chupacabra.
Okay, go ahead and give me high stakes, because it's fire, oil. Give me a strike.
Strike. Okay.
It might not be
You-
your thing,
Can
but
we
I will
help
give
you?
you an
No.
I will give you an extra die, circumstance die, because you're using its weakness.
Okay, an extra die.
How many dice do you have right now?
2.
I have 1.
You
And
have
I'm going
1.
Okay.
to use some drive to have another chance at it.
Can we help you?
Yes, you guys can always help. You just have
Okay.
to make it narratively make sense and all of the chaos of this.
All right.
Uh,
Kalki, what do you want to do?
Yeah. I am going to, as I see Enrique run up with the lamp, I'm going to just call out by the flames of Vayu, go out, and I twist the blade further in.
And further in, okay, that gives you an extra die. What are you doing? Sienna?
I am actually going to go over because I've connected with this creature.
Yes, you still have a telepathic connection with it. It is on the edge of life, but it still has a tether to its master that seems to be animating it.
How do I cut the thread?
You reach out and cut it. You get another die. You get another die.
And I'm going to hold on for dear life.
Okay, do I get an extra die for that?
Yes, you do.
All right. On that regard,
Can I also contribute another die? I want to make sure you get it.
You can. How do
okay.
you do this?
I think just residual of having just shot it in the head, I think that should, definitely be assisting. So if that's a way to pass that energy off to him, I'd love to.
You know what? I'm going to say you fire off another shot.
Sure,
I think you're like the first shot you sure should have taken it out, but
It's
you
still
fire
moving.
a second shot just in case because it's still moving, and that will give you another die.
I'll look at Agatha and say, I'm sorry. And then
Oof.
Agatha screams.
Roll.
we don't know about PTSD. It's 1907.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. You just call
Oh,
it
Shell
no.
shock.
Yeah, you got a bad case of shell shock. Just walk it off. Have a sip of whiskey.
Oh,
damn. Yeah, you will see my character Don Enrique running at the speed that you have never seen before because he looks like he's 50, but he actually is 31. So he will go jump and slam the lamp on the back of this creature, and I am rolling and getting a 5.
Nice.
You reach out,
Good enough.
slam the lamp into the creature. It bursts into flames. You feel the connection cut off. And then it goes into fire and just its charred remains as you're all able to get back. Oliver is like holding on to his throat. Agatha, you're able to get up now that you're not dealing with gunfire and it's not high stakes anymore. You patch up and stabilize the two of them.
My hands are shaking though the entire time.
Yeah, Arav,
I'm
you
gonna come help you.
Arav, you just start to kind of blink and wake up, and you feel a little out of sorts as you're just all in the room, harried and exhausted.
Hold
Don't
still,
try to
hold
speak.
still.
I run towards Arab. Mijo, are you okay?
What happened? What was that thing?
Something
Some
ugly.
Some sort of awful dingo, or perhaps a coyote got inside, jumped on you, tried to kill you.
Where's my father? I have to tell him something terrible is in the
He was
house.
just with us.
Go get him.
Okay.
Curious where he went.
I'll go
You-
with you. You shouldn't be doing too much.
All of you kind of search through the house, going through all kinds of various different rooms until coincidentally, he's like, my father's office. My father has this creepy office. It connects to some old fair ruins under the house. Maybe he went there. And like he heads and he's heading directly to the door where all the bleed is coming from.
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
What?
Don't touch it.
I would have if we were going to search for a room or for where the father would have gone, Kalki would have been, I believe I know where he is. I think it is in that room where Enrique and I had found massive amounts of bleed. Let us go there first.
Is that what that creature was emanating? That weird black ichor?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Wait, are you meaning to tell me that
Mr. Oliver, something really bad is here, and I hate to say it, but I think your dad might be involved in some way. You need to get to someplace safe right now.
what could be safer than my home?
The Ivory Mask is safe.
But didn't you just say Preston was murdered there?
It's going to be taken care of now. And I think
Safe now.
it's safe now. We know the proprietor. He will take care of you.
But why would my father be involved? I don't.
We're about to find that out.
We're going to find that out. And maybe your
Okay.
father's an innocent victim. If he is, we'll send him to you. But right now, you need to get into Miss Kalki's car and have him take you to the Ivory Mask now.
Okay. And he listens. He heads off. And, and the dog is like looking at the door going,
Big boy, back off.
I would have taken off my necklace and given it to Oliver so that he could present it to Gustav so that he knows that it's...
He puts it around his neck, the stitched wound that Agatha patched up on his neck, now cleaned and dressed. And he's like,
Talk to Mr. Augustus Castillo. He'll take care of you.
I will. And he just, please, he listens to the people that are in charge because something just tried to kill him and you all saved his life. And you're standing in front of this door.
Question for the Lightkeeper.
Yes.
Is my eye area...
It's vibrating. It's with heat.
We also apparently have 15 minutes just...
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Before
to
we
bleed.
end, I just want to roleplay a little bit because I believe
I got you,
I'm
Spear.
just about to say that Enrique asked like how.
Uh-oh.
Cutting there.
Spear, you keep cutting out.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Kinda.
now we
Yeah.
hear you. Go ahead and ask your question.
I was just saying that Enrique wanted to like roleplay a little bit with me when I went down to the scar.
Oh, would Enrique have looked at you when you got your scar?
So I believe that
Surely.
I believe that Enrique came over and Migo.
How
So
are
I
you
would say
doing
like
there?
as I was like disoriented from the thing, I was like slowly getting to my feet.
Yeah.
I looked to Enrique. I looked to like I just say Abuelo, like a very like faltering way, like Abuelo.
Dio. And here I'm going to place my hand on his shoulder there and see around his face if he's okay.
What does
He's
your...
mostly okay.
Mhm.
His back has like this massive bump with like a thin line of blood still coming from it. That probably requires stitches and will probably develop into a scar. But for the moment, he seems okay. A little shaken up, and a little disoriented, but still alive.
Okay.
Ow.
Patch you up.
Agatha, as I said, is able to give some quick stitches. No need for any roll.
Also,
You're all
we have another
Yes.
first aid kit as circle gear.
Yeah. You are at the door. And I'm going to ask some questions. You're opening the door. The door opens. It leads to stone stairs leading further and further down. The bottom of the stairs, you see an incredibly tall gentleman, about 6'2", 6'3". Several figures in robes wearing hooded figures wearing masks similar to the ivory mask, but not the same. And one tall young gentleman and Griffith. You have a moment where you are caught completely off guard as you see someone you have not seen since the time of the Shiver Wars. You see George, but you see George that you knew when you were young. Full blonde beard, blonde hair, hale, wide of shoulder, once again, just like you knew him many, many years ago.
George?
Slight
It's
white at the temples.
I had my gun out, and I'm like,
And behind him is what looks to be a stone archway with rippling black water on the inside of it. The stone floor is spattered with blood and various different, what you recognize as both tools of old fair alchemy and ritual totems and zemes of Borinque, warped together in this terrible, blasphemous way. And he stands there looking handsome as the other figures flee into the portal. And he stands there and he looks at you all and he's like, well,
It's you.
don't do it.
I'm sorry, Harry.
You almost
But-
killed your son.
He deserved it.
Deserved it. Who are you to say?
Who are you to judge?
George, what
Any
the devil is
holds-
going on?
And he holds up the ivory mask,
Shit.
the one with the power now. As he puts the mask on,
No.
and the room everyone take a bleed.
Oh,
As
I'm
a
gonna let
shockwave
it in. I'm letting
goes
it in.
out.
I'm gonna let it in.
You're gonna let it in.
I am.
I have another thing I'm going to do, but I'm going to let yours happen first.
All right, go ahead and make your roll for letting it in.
I don't need to roll with that. I need to I can find out the source of the bleed, more about the phenomenon that's harming us.
Okay.
But I'm gonna take it.
The bleed radiates out as he pushes himself back into the portal.
Lord Gayaba, Lord of the Underworld, you are corrupting. Why?
As he goes through the portal, her eyes open and turn white. And in 3 voices, one speaking La Lengua, the language of Borinque, one speaking the tongue of Istapor, and one speaking the common tongue. All saying all once, kind of layered. Power of the past, power of the future, bound now for dominion over the Fade, the Maya, the spirit, the underworld. All kind of echoing all at once in different words. A phantom version as the mask appears over her face. Alchemical sigils appear aside of the mask, and a beautiful, familiar golden bangle with a fire ruby on it that you and Agatha recognize as Sita's ire. The one you recovered appears in front, and apparitions and then combine into the ivory mask that he is wearing now. And then it vanishes.
Given given experimental gear, his unit,
Yes.
Griffith's just kind of standard appearing soldier coat. They were always taught if something were a little too wild, like, here it is, boys, if there's ever something that's not quite up to snuff, hold up your arm in front of yourself and take a stance to defend. And I basically use Defy Death as my slink ability once per assignment, when you should take one or more marks from an enemy, instead escape unscathed. So he holds up his arm like this and it just parts around him, because it's actually like energy, like resistive energy. But he doesn't understand it. He's just doing the thing he was told.
He puts the arm up, and then this little like cuff link on your coat glows with a bright, almost like a glowing shield that appears in front of that blasts the energy away, and then it fades into the cufflink, and you're all left there in the silence, in this, surrounded by these catacombs. The Chupacabra defeated, Preston's killer uncovered. But now, you all sit with the truth.
Bad news for Oliver.
Relics are gone. The Obsidian Plutarchs are on the loose. And so the trials of your circle, even though you emerged from this assignment alive, but not unscathed. Next Sunday, we return for your next assignment. We'll see you there. And that ends tonight's episode of Candela Obscura, Circle of Hither and Yon.
Oh.
Thank you all so much. I know we ran a little bit over. I know we started a little bit late. But next time, same channel, we will be back for more darkness. Everyone, please, I have been your Lightkeeper, Okami. You can find me here every Sunday, terrorizing you all in the world of the Fairelands. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to... we'll do it just like we did our popcorn initiative. Whitney, please tell us your name and really short where we can find you.
Hey guys, I'm Whitney, she, her, and I played Sienna Ballad, she, her, and the very reluctant media, but oh my God, things are going to happen. You can find me on the Book of Faces, and you can find me on Instagram and playing right here.
Okay. Pass it down to Tomas.
Okay, so hello, my name is Mas Jimenez Rioja. I played Don Enrique Puertos, the Latino professor, and you can find me on the internet at T Jimenez RGM. That's TGI. I mean, yeah, TGIMENEZRGM. And I am a game designer, so I'm creating multiple products at the moment, working on an interesting one called Magnolia, the City of Marvels. Go check it out if you are into art, rebellion, or punk. The perfect blend within cyberpunk and fantasy.
Nice.
Love it.
Arav, our young magician, please. Spear.
You are muted, Spear.
You're muted, Spear.
Unmuting's a free action.
They might be AFK.
Oh no, poor Spear. Okay, well then we'll bounce over to Mr. Griffith.
Can everyone hear me?
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Hi, Spear.
I'm here.
Yay, Spear.
Saying our
tell
goodbyes.
people-
Sorry,
We're saying
my
our
internet
goodbyes.
is
Tell
just
people
lagging
where we can
so
find
much
you.
right now.
It's all
Yeah.
good, Spear.
So hi everyone, I'm Spear. I've been playing the.
Oh no.
Chupacabras attacked.
Hey, check out the subtitles.
Oh no.
Yeah, I am at the Spear of Heaven, Spear_of_heaven. You can find me on Discord by that, and yeah.
Excellent. And now to Grayson.
I am Lieutenant Harry Griffith, old soldier, and I am Grayson. I play him on this lovely show. You can find me here. That's probably the best place. I don't have the Book of Faces anymore, so this is good.
This is good. All right, moving on to the unstoppable Agatha Payne. Denver, please tell us who you are.
Unshakable.
Hi.
Unshakable.
I am Denver. I play Agatha Payne, the muscle of the group. And you can find me on the Bird app at DAA Grant Draws or Twitch as DJ D20. And you can also see me in Apocalypse Keys Season 2 on Pantsless Tables when it airs.
Hell yeah.
Yes. And last but most certainly not least, Aadi. Yes.
Hello, people of the internet.
Queen!
Our queen.
I am Aadi MK, and I have been playing Kalki Iyengar, Mantrik from Ispatpur. And you can find me at Noonlight Creations on Instagram, and I will also soon be DMing a Calamity 5e game soon, and it will be streamed. And,
Badass. That is awesome.
As much as Hector enjoys scaring people, I enjoy doing emotional damage, and I'm really good at it. So come and see me.
I love it.
Come and see me consensually hurt my players as we explore the tides of Atlantis. And but yes, looking forward to being here next Sunday because this is a fun little table.
I am having a blast.
All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Steve, our producer, for allowing us to play. You're amazing. Steve, is there any announcements that you need before we sign off?
Yes. Hello. Hi. I'm Steve. I'm the voiceless, faceless, pantsless person on this show. Very excited to see where this goes next. This whole episode. The first half, I was hooked because I couldn't step away, and the second half I missed most of it because, and here's the fun news, we have selected our 12 DMs for our big charity event, and announcements will come out tomorrow evening. Yeah, announcements will come out tomorrow evening around this time, most likely, or sometime during the week, but I will finish it by tomorrow because I'm taking the rest of the week off. Which also, exciting news, there will be no Pantsless Tables content on Twitch starting tomorrow till Sunday, which is when your next game is, because I'm taking the whole week off. It's my first week off since fucking January. So
you deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the vibes for all of that. That's the only announcement I have for now. And thank you so much for the game. I had so much fun. I'm going to go back and watch the second half when I can, which is most likely going to be before the second session. But yeah, you're all fantastic. This has been great. Can't wait to see what chaos happens next.
Yes.
Thank you for
All right.
hosting.
Thank